Hello, everybody. Alexander Smith coming at you on YouTube. Hello, and how's everybody doing tonight? I hope you are doing well. Trying to think. What do I want to say about? Aye. The reason why the title is what it is because the minimum prizes has only been done like in maybe a couple of years at that at most. Hi ho. I haven't got round to time we putting the new banner up. Hi ho. I've had a look at it and I'm like, do I change it? Do I not change it? Don't know. I'm like, I do like the idea of what you were saying about, and I've looked at a few of your videos. I've sent you the link for your. You see something, you go like that. Is it really what I like, or does it look better than what I've already got? That's how I'm like, do I change it? Do I not change it? I'm like, because I'm like, I like the idea of the, as you said, like the American and the thing with the American and the Scottish. So it's like a Scottish and I like that idea of it. But then high blistering, but then you've got the wee like little thing in the middle, and I'm like, would I know rather like it sort of spaced out? But then I don't want to pull these out because I don't want to get them dirty. Because I'm not in. When they've sent them out, they haven't put them in plastic bags, so I don't want to take these out and get them all dirty because I've only got two. I've got medium and large, but I don't want to do them tonight. But I'm like, do I do a video and show the sticker of it and what it looks like, or do I go and take a screenshot of it off a red bubble and let them see what the t-shirt looks like as in the design that's on it, and do a video for that one, because I'd like more people into that. But I'm thinking, how do I use the comment that what people use, the comment picker, the actual comment picker? But I'm like, do I just use the wheel and then just do what we usually do? That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, don't I? Hi Vanda, because I've got the new design done and I've got the bits and pieces. This is what I want to show you as well. I want to show you these ones as well, because there's a couple that's been put into. There's a couple of them that's been put into first, second, third prizes, and also the GW ones as well, because I've been in through the stack, as in the boxes of stuff. And then I'm thinking, do I want to show different nickels as well under the microscope? Because what happens is you start, maybe somebody gives you one, and it starts a whole collection thing off where you want to collect all the USA stuff. But I've not just got USA, I've got USA, I've got Canada, and then I've got some of the world coins as well, like foreign ones. I've got some Australia, some as in Indian, some. So I've got different countries' origin, a different coinage. And this is what the whole idea was, to give something back. That's why I do the wheel. But the channel needs to become larger than what it is at the moment. But I don't want to force it. I'd rather let it build itself up naturally without me having to force. Because for me to do a video and say like, subscribe and comment, I find that hard to ask for to do that, because it's up to the person and what they feel. That if they come across a video of yours and they sit and watch it and they feel that it's enjoyable, but I don't want to pressurise people. I don't want that, because if I was pressurised into something, I would switch off. But no, not interested. It's like you pressurising me into something. Hi, numismaniac. It's like you pressurising me into doing something and I don't feel comfortable by doing it. I wouldn't do it. But when I don't feel comfortable with something, I just won't do it. But then I like doing the videos. I actually like doing the videos. I enjoy doing the videos. I enjoy doing the wheel, because I get enjoyment at seeing other people happy or them getting enjoyment out of it, which makes me feel good in myself. And this is what it's sort of do with. And it also makes me feel not so isolated in my own area, although that I don't have a lot of friends or whatever. But it's not because I don't want friends, it's just that I find it hard to make friends, or I need to go into a club or whatever and feel comfortable within that club before I even sort of take the steps of getting to know people. But it's like me taking time out to get to know people on YouTube. I've taken the time out for certain people to understand them as a person without asking all their background, because I don't want to know about their background. Because when somebody start telling you about their background and their bad past that they've done, as in, say, for instance, they've had scrapes with police and all the rest, it makes you feel frightened of the person that they were back then. So I don't want to know about their past, as in if it's something that I shouldn't need to know, because I don't want to judge them on that past. Because if I felt that somebody was judging me, I wouldn't like it, because the past is the past. You cannot change the past of what you've done in the past. And it's not about the past tense. It's about when you know a person from the day you met them. As in, the day you met them, as in, say, for instance, you meet them through another person, as in through YouTube. And this is what it's sort of do with. It's not about the drama and the negativity. It's not like, because there's been a few times where I've watched, like, say, I'm going to say an example, and Vander probably know the person, Bobby K, right? Now, I haven't met Bobby K as a person, right? I'm only going with what I've heard and what I've seen and what he's like as in on YouTube itself, right? So I'm not going to judge that person, because I don't really know him as a friend. I wouldn't class him as a friend. It's more, I would class that more as an acquaintance, because he's on YouTube and everybody else knows him. But I'm just making that as an example to try and explain where I'm coming from, because that's the whole that's what I do. if I come on hosting the panel or I host the show, I'm just talking about things in general. I'm not having a go at anybody. I'm not making an example out of certain people or certain creators on YouTube. There's people that I do like, I do get on me and all the rest, but I don't follow a clique. I'm not like a sheep. I'm not like a bah. I do like a lot of the good ones, as in because we all got on in the coin community, and there's been a few that's passed away, but they, as I said, they've not been forgotten, like Rick Paletta. Now, Rick, I knew him briefly. I knew the man briefly, and he was well liked within the community. And Rick Paletta, I used to watch a lot of his stuff on his timeline on his Facebook, because he basically friend requested me. We approved each other, and it went for there. But me knowing him as a friend, I know him more as an acquaintance, as in through YouTube. And it was a shame that he passed away. But as I said on a comment, as in where it was his wife or whatever, or his partner, that was replying back on his Facebook page, which was Rick Palatia. And I said he won't be forgotten because he was well known in the coin community. And that's what it is. It's a case of there's people that pass away in the coin community, but they were well known and well liked and well loved and well thought of. And we don't forget the ones that are passed away. So they're like, it's like the veterans that went missing and were never found, and nobody knew whether they were coming back or not, or whether they were dead as in the tour of duty, but they were never forgotten. So that's like the coin community. The coin community is a bit like that, as in there's people in the coin community that have been there for God knows how many years, and you eventually get to know the older generation through the YouTube community or the skipper coming up.
Well, hello, Alexander.
So
I figure it was high time to come visit you. How have you been?
Oh, not too bad. I see that Dale's moving house, or he was waiting for a move, and then something happened, and he didn't get a move, and then it ended up.
It was a disaster. I was so worried about him. I'm sure you were too. It was.
I check it. What happens is I don't go to his channel anymore, but it's not because I fell out with him or anything. It's just that I've been doing other things, and I see stuff on the timeline or the community post. So I've been liking the community post and reading what it said, and then just leaving it because I'm like, well, what do you say to Dale? Because it's one of the cases where he's trying to get a move or whatever else, and then all of a sudden it falls through, and then it's back to square one again.
Mm-hmm. It's the thing with Dale is that he hasn't really posted anything or did any live feeds for the last 4 months, other than a few shorts, and that's again because of his immediate needs. He had to find a place to live, and I am so happy to hear that he found a decent place for less money, better place, more room, place he can hang pictures up on the walls if he wants to, and make it into a nice home.
And his health doesn't keep too well either with Dale's health. It's up and down. It's one of the cases it's up and down from time to time. And then he's back and forward to hospital, and then Zoe's taking him to hospital and then back for hospital, and then he ends up he gets tired because of the tablets and all that, Karen. Do you know what I mean? So he's got a lot of things. Dale's got a lot of things going on that people don't know about behind the scenes. And I don't talk about it because it's none of my business. It's none of my business about personal stuff, somebody's personal life.
Yeah.
We've got personal life with YouTube.
He's had some serious challenges. He's done very well considering that. But that house that he's leaving, that was not healthy for him or anybody. I mean, it was full of black mold. The floors were all buckled and shattering. You could see cracks through the walls and everything else. And it's just so. I'm so happy that him and Zoe and they've got themselves a decent place. So now we should see him back on once he's resettled.
See, I've been taking a lot of things because Mum's like, we gotta do all this stuff and all the rest because I've been starting when I started with Lemonhead Penny, right? Now I got on well with Lemonhead Penny, right? There's a lot of things that's happened as in the last live that Lemonhead done, so I don't talk about Lemonhead as much as I used to because it starts all the fucking people that I didn't get my stuff and this happened and blah blah blah, and I'm like, look, it's nothing to do with me. It's nothing to do with me. I was buying it same as everybody else, whatever else. I stacked a lot of Lemonhead Penny stuff that I bought off them, and I stacked it. And then I started buying stuff off of Joe Durbin or whatever else, and it's get right out of hand. But I'm not, at the end of the day, Skipper, I'm doing 2 projects at once. I'm doing coins and I also do phones. My main hobby is phones. I buy phones off of eBay. That's what I do.
You're talking old antique phones?
No, I do I don't do the older stuff. A lot of the Nokia, back in the Nokia range, there's the Nokia range that done well, that are like the cult. There's a cult following for like the 63s and stuff like that, like the older sort of retro stuff. But I started moving to this sort of digital camera stuff because I knew there was there's more a cult for that than what there is the older stuff. Because the older stuff, it's got to be 100%. It's got to be like mint condition and all the rest for collectors to collect it because it's retro. And the value of phones recently have took a sort of peak, like the same as coins have done. Like when I say to you about some of the 50 pence pieces, the £2 coin, the 20 pence undated coin, the new ones that's coming out, like the ones with King Charles on them, they're saying like 400 times the face value at the moment. And there's been newspaper articles with this on it saying about these coins.
Wow. Yeah, we're seeing quite a change in the coin collecting community and for instance, the silver prices and stuff have really escalated as well. You got me fascinated with now these phones that you're collecting. Are these just cell phones you're collecting? Like you said,
I buy them to do them up, but I take them off of eBay, and then what I'll do is I'll do what needs to be done with them for to eventually sell them back on eBay. But there's some of the Nokia range that I haven't seen that I'd like to have a hold of and actually have a look at them properly as an up close. Like the Nokia Engage, I've never had one of them. There's some, but they're saying there's been a report recently on Twitter or on HMD's Twitter that the company which bought into Nokia, which is part of, I don't know if it was part of HMD or whatever, they're saying that their time with them is nearly up. So they're saying that Nokia is only going to do the finishing range that they ever wanted to do. And then I don't know if they're moving on or where they cease product. And I don't know. This is what I'm trying to figure out. because what happened was Nokia had, when Nokia were doing the release dates, there was problems within the company, like software, bugs, whatever else, and they weren't releasing them on the dates that they were saying they were going to release them on. So they were holding the release dates back. So there were orders for customers wanting these phones like the 62 rate, like the 60 range, the 70 range, or the rest, when they were told the release date was supposed to be going on. But they held it back because they had manufacturing problems, they had software issues, stuff like that. But then they decided that they needed money. So this is when Microsoft invested in Nokia. And Microsoft had it for so long. But then Microsoft then decided that they weren't getting into phones. They wanted to stay in the Windows range with computers or whatever else. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if whether they gave it back to Nokia or whether they sold it back to Nokia for less than what they bought it for, the company. But then I don't know if they got a sponsorship or a deal with HMD, and HMD bought into the company. But they've only got a certain amount of lease date that their contract ends on, and there's been a big Twitter fucking release saying we're coming out of HMD, or HMD's gone on their own, and Nokia will basically either, I don't know if it's to cease or where they're going to go on their own for doing the last of the range and what they were wanting to ever do, and then that's it. The company then ceases. I don't know, because I like a lot of the Nokia stuff. I've never had problems when I've ever bought a Nokia. I've never ever had problems, touch wood, with a Nokia, and that's why I've stuck with Nokia. That's why I go in. But you cannot get them in the phone shops. You go into a phone shop and they'll go, we don't stock them. They have to actually order them specifically, whatever model you want in the Nokia range. And it comes for, I don't know whether they've got stock back store or whatever, I don't know, because I've never had a problem. Like Vodafone, it said, oh, you get it on Tuesday, and I've had it on Saturday morning with DPD. But a lot, you need to pay the I think it's like $6.99 for the delivery or whatever if you don't want to come down to the shop. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, I don't mind paying that, as in if I get it that quick. But I have took it on. I have my phone now on contract, because when I was paying it for pay as you go, there's a problem with getting insurance. They won't insure it for accidental damage, as in for a pay as you go phone. So I decided, well, if it was better for me to buy it as a contract or whatever, but then Vodafone have got this thing that you're paying for your contract, but then you're paying your device separately. But my device is like, that last Nokia was like £9 a month, which is nothing basically. And then I think it was £11 for insurance, and then my contract's like £37. But I get good. I get unlimited minutes, I get unlimited text, and I get, I think, 5 gigabyte of data per month I get for that. What I'm paying, for that is what I'm paying. But the thing is, Skipper, when they kept coming back to me and saying, your contract's ended, we want to renew your contract, I would turn around and tell them, no, I didn't want a new phone. I didn't want to change the contract plan or the plan I was in. So they were like, well, what can we do to keep you as a valued customer? They were like, well, we can put you on a newer plan, but we can lower the payments. This is how I ended up in the plan I am in now, with the amount of minutes and stuff that I've got with it, because I'm 7 years with the company, but I have got what you call a black spot in the room. And every time I take a phone into them, they turn around and say, the speaker's gone. And I says to Mum, I don't think the speaker's gone at all. I think they're saying this because there's nothing they can do. If you've got a black spot in an area that is no coverage, there's not a thing they can do for you. He can't help you in any way possible. So either you change contract and go to another company, or you stay with it and you just deal with it as best you can.
Yeah, I just changed companies myself. I went from Rogers to Bell, and it's because Rogers wasn't willing to negotiate. I was paying double what I'm paying now, and I get 100 gigs of data a month.
Right, that's good.
Which is a tremendous amount. So the only thing is, I have a spare. I want to show you a phone. I'm just going to have to disappear and grab it for you. I have a Katana. Have you ever seen a Katana cell phone?
I've heard about Katana. I've never actually seen one.
I absolutely love it. I'll grab it here and I'll show it to you. I would like to reactivate it. It's not a smartphone, but by the Lord Lipton, it's a nice phone, and it's gold. So give me a second here. I'll grab it.
No, that's who we deal with, as in Royal Mail. But Royal Mail goes through for USPS guys. And then you've got, this is a new one. So when we talk about the new design or the new, this was going to be the new banner, but I don't know because we couldn't get it as in stretch it or whatever. That's because that is my actual initials. But I've got 2 t-shirts that I'd like to be able to give away, but I've only got medium and large because I was like, well, do I get large, just large, or do I get extra large? Because I don't know people's sizes. And I was like, I don't know how big the medium would be. And I don't want to get, as in I don't want to muck it up because obviously they didn't put it in plastic bags like they usually do. As in they put it to them, as in because they must have been using a different printer at the time. Different printers. I don't want to get them dirty.
What's that you got there?
It's a new design. It's a new design, Skipper.
Oh, that is nice.
Hi ho done it for me. Hi ho Silver done it for me. As we use Redbubble, but I've just found out Ricky Dove is actually bought a laminator, lamination. He's bought a lamination, which he's bought a mug. He's bought a mug press,
right?
As Ricky, so I might actually see Ricky as in he do some of the merch, as in be using that design.
Yeah, it's very, very nice.
Because I'm trying to think, Skipper, it's not a case of me spending money. I'm trying to think of how to make the channel go further or get the channel out there further, because it's sitting at like just over 1K, but I don't get the views like some of the other bigger channels get. And it's not about being famous or making money out of the channel. It's for everybody else to enjoy the videos, for me to be able to do more videos.
Yeah, I can throw something past you on that because I'm much in the same boat as you are. But I did get the Katana. That's what it looks like there. And as you can see, it's actually got a magnetic case, so it goes on your belt.
Right.
And I think this is so much prettier than the iPhones. Look at how gorgeous that is.
It's nice, that.
Hey?
Flip
phone, yeah. It's just like, I love that phone. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Skip, does it actually have a slot for to put a SIM card in it?
I believe so. It goes in the back. Like, I just opened up the back there.
Like, well, what they did was they turned the two, I think they turned the 2G off. They turned the 2G signal off, as in the 2G, but I think they kept the 3G running. Because we're up now to 5G, aren't we? Because it's the 5G. They call it 5G is the 5th generation. It's the 5th generation phone. So it's what you call the smartphone, and this is what the smart technology is. But the signals they're still using is done by satellite is back to the 60s when the army was using, like, as you well know, when you went out in the field and all the rest, as and when they were using the satellite, the GPS and all that, Carol, like, it looked like a big walkie-talkie thing, looked like a big brick, as it made digital numbers on it. When you've got no way of contacting, as when you're out in deployment. See, I learned something. My dad was messing about with Hacker Herald radios, right? When he was still alive. My dad was taking stuff for the car boot sale or whatever, like 9-volt radios, and basically making them back work again, because 9-volt radios, if they'd been laying for so long, they basically didn't have it was as if they went dead. My dad knew how to bring them back alive again.
Right.
He would sit and mess about with them for hours and hours. But I think that how he learnt it was off his grandfather, which would be my granddad. And my granddad, according to stories my dad would tell me, my grandfather was a desert rat in the army. My granddad nearly got court-martialed for there was a sandstorm, and they hid in a barrel. They hid in a barrel for 2 days solid until the desert sandstorm passed. And when they went back, they were nearly in getting court-martialed because they'd been away for so long. They thought they'd went AWOL or done a runner back then, and it was a case of you done your service. You couldn't just walk out the army for no apparent reason or leave it, because you know how they done them with the marshals and all the rest, and they go and find them, no risk, Caron, back in the days. Right, well, he was out in it was a sandstorm that blew over, and they were in the deployment, and they were in the desert, and the sandstorm was that fierce that they couldn't see 2 feet in front of them. So they hid in a barrel, put the barrel over the top of them, and stayed in the barrel until the desert sandstorm passed. This is only stories that I've been told by my father. I don't know whether they're true or not. I just know.
You know what? That's not far-fetched. And the thing is, even if they wanted to charge him with being AWOL, the guy, all he was doing was trying to protect himself from the sand. You know, it's a matter of just digging yourself out and reporting in and saying, look, this is what happened. So that's charge.
Yeah,
There's
when dad passed away, I started messing about more with phones than what I ever did. And a lot of the videos that I was watching started making me think about back to the army times and how a signal and everything worked. And this is when I started finding out more things about what I thought I didn't know about phones, because I'm like, well, how come a phone is getting how come this box that I've got has got RX and TX on it? What does RX and TX stand for? And then I started, hold on a minute here, and started things coming out my head, as in just popping in my head, and it just made sense. But I was like, how do I know this? I don't actually go on the internet and sit for hours on end, as in studying it. It was like as if it was coming to me in bits and pieces. But then I was like, hold on a minute, maybe this is in the blood, maybe this is from my great-grandfather, and he was messing about with radios back then, as in, and this is how the old man was sitting messing about with them, because he started talking about different RF frequencies and crystal frequencies and all that, because when you talk about radio control cars, you've got what they call an MHZ, which is megahertz.
Right.
It's a frequency that they run on. You've got like 96, I think it's like 96 megahertz, but you've got different crystals and they're all different colours, like yellow, blue, red, so they don't interfere with each other when they're on the same frequency band. And I was like, hold on a minute, a phone works the exact same. It's got a radio frequency, but how's it got a radio frequency and an internet on it? Because when you look at an old phone back like a 63 or whatever, or a before a 63, they didn't have internet facilities on them. It was only until after so many years that they decided to put the internet as in Wi-Fi on them, because they work on I think it's like what they call a DNS server, which is a domain something server, which it's all numbers. You put the numbers in and it'll frequency back. And that's when you started talking about that Quintana phone. I was like, hold on a minute. I wonder what system that's on, because if it was 2G, they turned 2G off just recently, but they're still using 3G, 4G, and I think 5G they're using.
I think it's on the phone here.
So if you put, it depends what SIM card you put. It depends what SIM card you put in it.
Yeah,
but I have got a guy. I have a guy who's on YouTube who I'm very. I don't want to say pally with, but he's like an acquaintance. He actually unlocks old retro stuff, and he actually does the bat. He actually will take an old battery and take it apart and put a gel cell in it.
Yeah, see, it's 3G.
So it'll be a case of probably it might need an older SIM card. That's what it might need.
It is an older one. It's larger, but it's kind of nice. Now, you mentioned something earlier too. I don't want to let that escape you. You were talking about how to increase your viewership and different ways of getting more people into your stream and whatnot. And
because people keep talking about, but you're doing all this like free giveaways or whatever, or I tell them I don't charge, right, Skipper, I don't charge for them to come on the wheel, right? So yeah. I'm not charging them for the coins, right? But I'm saying to them, it's up to them if they want to put money in the shipping pot fund, right? Because it's to pay for the coins or the stuff going out, because you know how the price of the shipping and all the rest to different countries and all that car on, where it costs a fortune.
Yeah,
right?
it's gone.
I don't make that compulsory, and this is why I went back to the phones, was to subsidise the shipping, because I'm thinking, well, what if nobody pays the shipping? Then I've got their stuff, and I don't want people turning and say, oh, hold on a minute, Alex doing this stuff, but he's not sending it to us. So I didn't want that coming up. So I was like, right, how do I stop this for all these rumours or whatever else? Because you get people there that say, oh, such and such is doing this, and then they turn around, oh, but he's not sending stuff away. When are we getting my stuff and all that, Carol? And then you get one person that it starts all this catastrophe, and that's when you get all the drama coming. And I don't want all that. I don't want.
What and Dale and I discussed this sort of thing too.
I know
in length. Essentially, on my channel, it's numismatics, but history based. So I'm doing a 7-day cycle challenge where people are challenged to look at the coin I present. They put down as much information as they can find. I'm not putting any information on it. They have to provide the information. And whoever provides the most information at the end of 7 days, I send them a channel sticker, which is a lot cheaper than sending a coin. Now, if a person's exceptional, I'll put a small coin in with it, but something that I don't have to pay duty or anything on, so which keeps the price down. Other than that, it's once a week. All I have is my live feed, and it's historically based. I'm teaching about early North America and the massacres that went on in New France before Britain took on North America. So that's how mine.
I used to like when we would go backstream as in our backstage as in the end of it. But I also liked Austrian Stacker because he knew a lot of stuff that I hadn't even done that good, and it was all history based. And I was like, I get right into it because I'm like, I want to know more about it, or I want to understand it more. And this is why I like the coins, because I like the designs on the reverse. And when I see a different design on the reverse, I want to start knowing more about it, why it's on the coin, and start asking all these different questions about certain things.
The important thing that we're focusing on here, though, is because of the nature of our channel and because it's based on a hobby that we all love. That's a specific niche, and we get only a certain group of people that go into it. So if you take a look at just about every coin channel, except for maybe Christopher collects, he's got quite a few. If you take a look at the number, they're only slightly over 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 subscribers. Now, I have a friend who I've known for 30 years who started a YouTube channel. He's got over just about 1.5 million subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why did he get that many when I'm putting so much effort? And we discussed it in length, and it's basically, it has a lot to do with frequency of content and the content itself. Is it something that covers the whole spectrum, everybody, or just a niche like we do with just coins and certain hobbies? He decided, well, I'm going to do stealth camping. So I'm going to go camp once a week. I'm going to go out with my sleeping bag and a tarp and make myself a shelter behind a police station, in a duck blind, sleeping in a culvert, in a ditch. But he doesn't want to be found. It's called stealth camping, so nobody can see him, and to see if he can get away with it. And so many people got hooked onto him now. He's got over 1 million, well over 1 million subscribers. The guy is doesn't have to. All he does is that. That's the only thing. When he's not doing his one film a week, he goes and he's doing gold panning or magnet fishing or metal detecting. He doesn't have to work anymore because he picked something that had a broad scope. And
what happened was when I started, or before I started doing YouTube, is I was watching that rescue something trucks or something that was called GMC. He does GMCs. It's this partner. He fell in love with a partner, but he's like a redneck, as in this guy. He's really outspoken, really knows his stuff about GMC trucks or whatever, goes out rescuing them. Jamie and I can't mind the guy's name, but he was in his days, he was some kind of, I don't think he was a robber, he was you know how when they do a robbery and they do like they have a driver. Well, he was good at driving, as in and fast and getting away from the police or whatever. But he starts telling you about his back history, as in when he was a boy or when he got up to a certain age, like 30 or 40-year-old or something like that, and he decided that he was going to change his life. He was going to change his life, and this is what got me hooked, as in because I never knew nothing about YouTube at all, Skipper, not a thing. So when I tried to comment to his channel, that's when I realised that you had to have an account, and that's when I started looking into it. But also, when I came to YouTube, I used to watch Ian Matthews' content. You know who Ian Matthews is, didn't you?
Not offhand, no, I don't.
Ian Matthews is a scrapper.
A scalper?
Scrapper.
A scarper?
Scrapper.
Oh, scrapper. Scrapper. Gotcha. You and your Scottish accent. I got it.
It's Ian in the shed But I was watching his content, and Ian was putting out Robert Nurdin, right? This is back, I'm talking about back when I first started, Robert Nurdin, right? But I didn't know that Hazy Days and Robert Nurdin had a fallout. I didn't know this, right?
Mhm.
So I'm watching Ian's content for back when he was doing it and watching the back stuff, but no realising it wasn't up to date. It wasn't recent videos that I was watching at the time. So I'm hearing them saying, come to Thursday night or whatever and go to this channel, right? So I went to the channel or whatever else. But I didn't know there's a feud between you, Dizzy 1969, and also Hazy Days, because I don't know what's going on. I hadn't a fucking clue. So they're thinking that I've came for Robert Nurdin. I've been sent by Robert Nurdin to cause drama with Hazy Days. Now, I've got no picture. There's no picture. I'm hiding behind the scenes because I am doing investigation work on somebody else that's on YouTube, that's done something to my family, or my kids, and I'm checking out and doing investigation work behind the scenes, which he knows nothing about. Hazy Days knows nothing about this, but he's turned around and said, I want you to come out. I want you to show your face. So this is when it fucks up, because I'm doing a big investigation at the time without anybody knowing. I'm one of these people that I do investigation work. When I do investigation work, if you send me to do investigation work, Skipper, I do it privately. I don't charge anybody for doing it, but I love doing it because I love doing investigation work, as in to find out the reason or whatever you've asked me to do, and I'm reporting back to you with information, because even social was like, how do you know all this information? I was like, I'm not telling you how I got this information, but I'm telling you it's true, it's gospel. I know it's true. I know it's true because I've been investigating it. And they didn't. But my mum says, she says, you should have been a private investigator, as in, because I was so good at it. But I stopped doing it because too many people were coming, oh, but why are you hiding? Why are you doing this? And I was having to explain to them what I was doing and why I was doing it and stuff like that. And, oh, we don't like you going through our stuff, our personal stuff, and you're going through Facebook, as in Facebook, and going through pictures and stuff like that. And I was like, because I was starting to, you know how when you get something on somebody's timeline and they put it on their timeline and they've not set it to private, and I was getting in there and pressing like, and people were like, well, why are you liking my stuff? Why are you going through this? Why are you doing this? That's stop. And they were like, that's stalking and all this, Karen. I said, but you don't understand that you have not made it private. Anybody can look at that because it's social media. It's social media. Don't you understand social media, how social media actually works?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. You've got to understand that, hey, when you go on and it's not private, it's out there for the world.
I thought Digger.
You know, so hey. I'm seeing we got what, Williams in, Dirt Diggers UK's in the house. Freaking awesome, of course, is freaking awesome. But
710 was about as Tan Hi-Ho. Hi-Ho's come back in the scene because me and Hi-Ho had a disagreement about something that I'd said over Messenger, and he didn't agree with what I'd said, and we sort of went our own separate ways, and then we were in an auction and he happened to be there, and so we sort of come back together again, as in, but he doesn't. Hi-Ho come onto my channel when I'm on, but he doesn't come on live. But then he was live last week. He come on panel just like you did, because I've got this problem that I don't invite anybody. I don't go to somebody's email and say, by the way, I would like you as a guest. I don't mind people coming up in my panel that I know, or I know of you, because I'm like, well, I know about this Karen, that if you're hosting and somebody starts showing bits of their body, it's no them that get it. It's you because you're hosting it. And you get the carry on by YouTube. So I'm like, well, as long as I know you come up and show your face as and so I know who you are or whatever as in backstage. But then I'm like, well, I don't mind the people that I know that are on YouTube or as in our other creators like you, Dale, 710. There's certain people that I know, but as long as somebody can vouch for them, I don't mind having somebody that I don't really know, because I know there's people in the coin community that I've still not met, and people will ask me about certain people, and I'm like, I know of that name or I know of that channel, but I've never actually really followed them, or I've never actually taken the time to get to know them as a person. Because I'm one of these people, I don't like people telling me bad things about their past, because it starts scaring me. Because I'm like, you're telling me stuff that I don't need to know. I don't need to hear that. That's your past. That's what you've done before. I'm not want to judge you by your past. That's why I keep talking about Skipper when I come live or whatever. When you've obviously heard what I was saying and probably agreed with what I was saying, as in thing, it's not about your past. I want to know about you as a person from the day I met you. As in further, I don't want to know about the past and what you've done and what scrapes you had and as in what you were involved with back then, because it's none of my business. Because the minute you start telling me things that start frightening me, I'm like, I don't know where I stand with you as a person, because I'm like, how do I take them? As in, they tell me to make me frightened of them, or they tell me because they want to be open and honest with me, but I don't want to hear this because it's freaking me out. It's freaking me out because what you're telling me. Because somebody did it to me before, and I was like, I don't want to hear that, but I didn't want to follow it with him as a person or follow it with him because I liked him as a person, but I didn't. It was actually Conan. Conan came to me and says, I want to ask you questions. There's certain questions I want to ask you. I want to come up and panel, and then what I want you to do is I want you to shut it off. And he was going like that with his two fists like that, and there was tattoos across his knuckles. But the way he was doing it, it was frightening me. It was scaring me about the person he was. And I was like, look, you're telling me about your past tense. You've now frightened me about your past tense because you're telling me open and honestly, but the way you're doing it, it's freaking me out. It's freaking me out.
Well, I'll tell you right now, you're on the nice list there, Alexander. So you don't have to worry about me. So
I've got this. I'm like my daughter, the oldest one that sort of taking a back seat for me at the moment. Right now, she just turned 18. She's got a lot of things in the past that she's trying to overcome at the moment, right? And she's got a hard exterior, but a soft centre. And I'm the same. I've got this hard exterior, which I act as if I've got this hard, tough character, but I do get emotional and I do have a soft centre. And when I get to know you, I get close to you as a person. It's as if I cling on to you. But when I cling on to you, sometimes I'm too clingy for some people, and they're like, you're a bit clingy. But instead of saying, look, I need you to back off, I'm like, they tend to sort of disappear phase or end up become a ghost. And I'm like, what have I done? What have I done to upset you? Can you tell me what I've done? Because I'm starting to overanalyze things in my head of what's going on. What I've
self-conscious. Yeah, I can understand that. Freaking Awesome says, have you heard from Dale? Yeah, I've heard from Dale. He's doing fine. Just getting ready to move into his new house. You know what, Alexander? I hate to leave you right at the moment, but my wife's got me on assignment here. I have to apparently go and get her some groceries. Yahoo. So yeah, the joys of being married, and gives me something to do, get outside. So I thank you for having me up on
You're
your panel.
welcome.
And in the meantime,
You're welcome anytime. You're welcome. You're welcome anytime. I
and say,
usually do. I usually try and do a Saturday because it's what happened is it was clashing with the Durbins. We were doing it on a Friday. It was clashing with the Durbins because of the auction and people were coming and going. And I was like, it's clashing. I need to maybe come do a different time. But then now we do like a Saturday. It's usually about between 7 and 7:30. We start at it. But as I said, I don't have many people that come up as guests, but I always make sure that I have always an open panel. And even if I don't get round to doing the wheel, I don't really care. I don't really care. I would rather be able to talk about coins and stuff like that and because I haven't seen you for a while and what you've got up to and stuff like that, because I feel as if it's about the coin community as a family, as a whole,
yeah.
not just one person. As in, because a lot of these things is now, it's all auctions, so it's all about profiting for the coins or selling coins, and it's constantly like that all the time. And some people have not just got the money or the funds to do that all the time. And then
there is a variety. There's a variety of channels, what they do, whether they be auctions or games or whatever. You pick and choose and that's the beauty of this communities. You pick and choose what you want. And I try to visit everybody, but the ones that I tend to stick to are the ones that have open discussions like you and I.
I've got nothing against spots, and I've got nothing against raffles. The only reason I don't do them is because I looked into spots and I looked into raffle and I put into Google what was illegal, and it came up as soon as it said about profiting. It started talking about the Gambling Commission and having a license, and I went, hold on a minute here. No, it's not for me. No, I'm not doing it.
Exactly.
And that's why I was like,
I got to get going. So take care.
Nice to have you
up. And come visit me if you get a chance on Mondays, 1 o'clock Mountain Standard. Take care.
Well, it was nice to have Skipper up in the panel. It was nice to see him for a while, or a time we have a talk or whatever. But as I said, that's new design. There's some postcards, some stickers, some stickers, and there's 2 t-shirts to give away. There's a medium and a large, a medium and a large. But then you were like, they're honestly, they're not cheap. The t-shirts, they're about well over £10 each, as in thingy for just t-shirts. But stickers are not too bad, as near £1 or £1 odd, depending on what you want. And you start going glossy. Do you want glossy? Do you want matte? Do you want as in transparent? Do you want transparent? So you got to try and pick what one, and the price comes accordingly, and then it depends on the size dimensions you want as well, as in with that as well. But the postcards are not too bad, and the stickers are not too bad. But it's when you got the t-shirts, the hoodies, the mugs, the bottle coolers with the prints on. That's when it starts getting more expensive. I'm on the lookout at the moment, as I said, Ricky Dove is what I do, sublimation or whatever it's called, as in he bought a thing for doing mugs, so I'm going to have a talk with Ricky and see what he says about mugs and stuff like that, but I don't know, because it's Hi-Ho's design, it's not Ricky's design, so I don't know if I need to go to somebody and say, by the way, this is the design I would like, but can you make your own, man? As in if there's I don't know if there's laws or whatever, or copyrights or whatever. But the reason why I put on the title, this week is because there is little coins or little amount in the minimums at the moment. Because what I done is last week I was on, and when you see me go through the coins of the ones that I got for cheapskate coins, as in the boxes or the box of coins, I took a handful out and I showed you as in under a microscope, and they happened to be lying on the top of the drawer, and I thought the room looks a mess, so I thought might as well I might just use it. So I done it as in just before I come live, a couple of hours before I come live, or during the day, I decided to. All right, hi-ho. So I decided, well, fuck it. I put a couple of bits together, minimum price or whatever, and do it. But I was wanting to talk about. I have put in the JW, which I've got four of the JW. I've got first, second, and third prize. I had a roll, or I had a little capsule with Sacagaweas in it, brand new Sacagaweas. I have put a Sacagawea into them, as in I took 7 out, because when you buy a little capsule, there's only maybe less than 20 in them, as in a Sacagaweas or the presidential dollar. Very little. A roll of pennies, there's 50 pennies in it. When you start going to the quarters and whatever else, there's slightly less than what is in a roll. So I was like, oh, hold on, what did we put in? Maybe we put in a couple of bits more, but a couple of bits extra. But what I've done is, I hate touching these. I'm trying to. So I'm holding them like that. What I want to do is, I want to change that to that there. That. Try not to touch it. I hate touching them. So there's 1963D, right? These ones are at a roll of pennies. They're BUs, but as you know, you'll notice 1963 is not a beat, but hopefully I can find one. But I have put, that's a little spot. I know I didn't notice that little spot there, but it's not too bad. Sometimes with BU, sometimes they have little spots in them. They don't always, as in they're pristine, they're mint. So there's, and that is 1958D. That's why I said to somebody, they stop as in for 19, they go 19, oh, I think it's 1901, they start in 1901 and they go right up to 1950, 1958. And that's a BU. There is BU ones lying out there. But sometimes when I'm at auction, sometimes people go absolutely daft for them. And I've seen them as an exchange in hand sometimes a full roll for like $30 or more. And I've just been lucky because I managed to get hold of a few. Everybody's like, but Alec, you're in the UK. That's because I get them shipped from America, straight for the auction. Because I can see that 8's not 100%, that 8. It looks all mushed. It looks mushed, so it does. When you look at it there. So I've managed to put a couple into the GW ones for tonight. Because even that 8 doesn't. That 8 looks as if it's further away. It's further away for the 5. So every time a coin was getting as in minted or printed, if they were doing them by hand, because I've heard stories that they were doing them by hand, as in the date later, or the dates, the year dates. So that looks as if that 8 looks as if it's further away from that 5. So it does. It doesn't look as close. So I don't know if that's would be classed as an error or not, because every so often you'll notice that they all look different to each other. Because that one looks as if it's smushed up slightly. That one there. That's nice, that's freaking as if it's that temperature. There's another one as well. A little spot there, but it's not. It's still nice, mind you. Let's check, see if what it looks like today and that. Surely that day, I would think that date, that letter, and that 8 should be further, as in where that 5 is. Still a spacing, but slightly as in further in that way, further in this way than out there. It looks as if it's too far out there than what it should be. I thought I seen something there. I thought I seen a. I thought I seen something behind that there, or something in between that, as in between the 5 and the 8. That 5 it looks as if it's been printed again, or is this? It looks as if it's shadowing, as if there's a 5 underneath that, or as it's went down, as in when it's been struck. It's moved slightly, the 5, because it looks as if there's shadowing, if there's a shadowing behind it, as in right there where the light's hitting it. It looks as if there's another, as when it goes round there. I can see like like an image in a print as if it's faint behind it. As if it's maybe moved and it's hit it again, but not hit it hard enough. Right there. So this is why I like watching yous guys, because I'm watching yous lot as in and listening to what yous are saying from time to time about certain coins when yous find them. Hi, Ink. No, because I've not sent anybody's stuff out yet. I will be getting sent out, as in some of them. A few of them. There's a few of them that will be getting sent out. Because I put that quarter in, as in, not in the bags, but the other ones. 2019 one. Because I didn't want to, because I was like, well, first, second, and third prize. I'm like only one slab or whatever, and I thought maybe it's worth putting a wee bit of extra as in with them. And then I was in a box and it'd been opened by Border Force. It'd opened by Border Force. I know, freaking. I'm really, as now, I'm always frightened that I put finger marks on a coin, because collectors don't like marks on coins. Don't like marks on coins. Show me W quarters. I only have a couple of W's. 710. Very, very few. And I've always thought about it was, well, if I bought rolls or quarters, can I find W's the best points in them? Because people's like, well, you bought as in quarters, have you ever found W's in them? Not that I necessarily can turn and say definitely I found it in a roll. Because people ask that question, can you find certain ones in a roll? Yes and no. Yes and no. You won't find them in every roll, but you'll find them in certain rolls, or every so often you'll find them. And you'll find some ones where there's different things in. I know that's why I was like, I tried to point at it, but not touch it. Because if somebody was like, but the thing is, freaking out, it's not as if I'm selling coins. This is not about selling coins. I'm giving back as in coins to the community. So if there's little marks on them, they can't turn around and say, well, I paid for them, and then end up as in start going freaking out about it. I know he did. Jeep and John went through 15,000 boxes of quarters to find what he found. Exactly, Ink. But some of them are gone away as well, freaking. As in, I put a couple in, that's why I was showing a couple of them, because I took a couple of extras out to show people, because I was like, right, I want to show what I've put into the minimum prize, because I've done 4 GWs, so you get 4 GWs, so before winners for them, and a winner for first, second and third prize, because I put two extra coins in it, a Sacagawea as well, and also a quarter, as in a quarter, and I was holding them like that. I done exactly what I was told. That's why I listened to Lemonhead Penny, because I thought, right, if I listen to a coin dealer or somebody that's coin collecting or done it for a long time, they'll tell me the do's and the don'ts. And that's what I was listening to, the do's and the don'ts, as in how to touch and hold coins properly, to do it properly if I was going to resell them. But that's what I'm saying. My whole philosophy changed from the time that I started doing it until now. As in, I don't sell coins. I have given back to the community the stuff that I don't need, the doublers that I don't need. That's how Ink's like, well, send me a Bugs Bunny, Alec. And he's like, I'm only kidding. I try not to talk about it, Ink, because everybody goes on about what happened at the last one. Oh, it was so selling boxes of stuff or whatever. And some didn't get their stuff and some did. And I'm like, I'm not. That's why I was like, every time I was like talking about Travis, I still like Travis. I still got a lot of time for Travis. If Travis came back on tomorrow, I'd probably start buying for Travis again, because he was trying to explain the situation that he was in at the time, and me as in trying to explain it to people, but some people didn't listen to what he was trying to tell you or what he was saying. It was as if sometimes you have to listen carefully when somebody's talking, because it's sort of mumbled or it's sort of like low volume. So you've got to sort of listen to what they're saying to you or what they've said and try and work it out. And if you don't understand, email somebody and say, look, didn't understand what you said in that last live. Can you explain it in an email to me so I understand? Because Lemonhead didn't like talking about what he was going through and the situation he was in and the issues that he was having, because he didn't want to bring it to everybody's attention. But sometimes if he wanted to explain something to somebody, he would explain it so everybody heard it. All his followers heard it. So people knew the situation or what was going on. And I like somebody that's upfront. I like somebody that's not a liar or doesn't tell stories or doesn't fabricate it. He tells you the way it is, whether you like it or whether you don't. And that's what I like about some people, as in when they tell it straight. It's not a fuck about. You know, try to figure out what they're trying to say or why they're coming across. Or there's a lot of people think they would like to see him come back, as in because some people did like a Tuesday, as in a Tuesday auction, because no disrespect to the Durbans, sometimes I feel that it's a bit much, as in like Monday, Wednesday and a Friday. How the hell can you have enough money to afford to do, as in to buy out 3 auctions per week, as in every week, as in if they're doing it Monday, Wednesday and a Friday? The difference is Lemonhead was only doing it 1 day a week, as in it was on a Tuesday at a specific time, and that was it, end of story. And if you didn't come live, you knew something was not right, because I know that he had I think he had diabetes. I'm sure he had diabetes. Exactly, and you don't have to buy every auction, I know, but sometimes you get addicted to, you see something you like and you go, I like that, but instead of going, right, I'm only going to go in and buy that, some people have a tendency that they go on a roll and then they end up, they start to go, well, I like another bit, and then it ends up another bit, and then another bit, and then before you know they've bought 15 bits. But sometimes you've got people that turn around and say, well, you bought that whole auction out. There's no point in me being there in the first place, because you just bought a whole lot. You just took me out. Everything that I've tried to buy, I didn't even get a sniff at it. So sometimes it puts you off by somebody getting in there and ham and tongs and buying everything they see. Sometimes you've got to sort of sit back and take a back seat. That's it. Sometimes I was doing. I was like, well, I don't need everything. And then I was like, well, how much stuff do I actually want? much stuff will I actually have by the time I'm finished. But I had a plan in my head. Right, I'm going to buy stuff for collecting point of view, as in for my own collection, but also I'd like a wee bit extra so that maybe I can put it on the channel. Maybe I can put content out in the channel. Plus, also maybe I can give back as well here. Not everyone has money to always be buying things like me. Of course, I couldn't link my earbuds. I had to go old school headphones. I actually like old school headphones, William. I can't go them stupid fucking things you put in your ears. As in thing, you're like, fuck. And end up, because you can stick them too far in, as in, but at least the big headphones, as in they're only on like earmuffs or ear defenders when you've got them on. But some of them are expensive depending what brand they are for them. It's like a Boss or something. The Boss are expensive. Boss are like £100 and odd, and then you get the ones base or something. Also ones base. Philips used to do quite nice ones, and then Sony done a set as well, as in a big set, and they were really good quality back in the day. A lot of these companies have went away from it. I wear them so nobody can hear exactly. I'm self-employed. I'm almost 60. I may go to many auctions, but I don't buy as many as I used to, as now I barely even get coins anymore. You buy the odd one and two, but then if you've done a few videos freaking, then they're really good. Your ones are really good videos. It's the same as like Hidden's. Hidden's, you go and see his coin collection, as in, and people didn't realise how big Hidden's collection is, and then he'll open an album or whatever it is, and then he'll start telling you about it. I'm trying to stick to my plan. Don't know what plan that is. No, because I've got like there's 78 D volume, as in nickels. There's like 4 or 5 of them in that tube. And then there's that one there. I don't know what year them are. And there's ones that says 73s. And there's ones that's 76 D watts nickels, as in that's USA ones. And then there's, I think, 2 or 3 in there as well, as in it's probably certain year date. And there's ones that say 1949. And there's ones that say 60 on them. And there's, I think that's a roll of dimes. I'm sure they're I think they're dimes, the ones there. And then there's ones that everybody's like, well, what the hell are they? As in, that's like half a roll of bison. They're half a roll of bisons. That's 2009 or 2005s. They're 05Ds on that. And that was the whole idea, because everybody's like, well, I wanted us in different year dates so I could actually give people some. Because I was like, well, I only need 2 or 3 each if I'm going to do it for my own collection. But then am I going to buy full rolls, or am I going to buy singles? am I going to buy? As in, because that's how it worked out. It was actually cheaper to buy them. As in, like, when we see them when you get them in, like, the proof set, because it's cheaper to buy it in a proof set than what it is actually to buy them singly. As you start buying them singly, they're like $2 or $3 each. And then you start as in going down the list because you've got P, D, and S. So you've got 3 different mint marks to buy. And some of them get expensive depending what ones they are. You've got ones that are key dates and stuff like that. That's what happened to me, freaking, as in my dad passed away. I focused totally on YouTube as if he still was here, because the day that they were taking the body out, that's the day I knew he wasn't coming back. But I still thought about him as in was still here, and that's why my mind was totally focused on YouTube. And everybody's like, "But your dad just passed away, and you've come on YouTube." They couldn't understand it because my mind was focused on something else to stop me getting emotionally, as in my emotions come out. And that's how I dealt with it. But didn't end up, I didn't grieve properly, and I was like, I need to still grieve in a certain way, but then it needs to come out, but then I'll let it come out when it wants to come out. There's no point in trying to force it to come on. But then end up, I've got one leg, I've got half a leg. That's why I've done the video, as in when I did the one with what was it I called it? Stumpy being naughty, Stumpy being naughty. My grandma has severe dementia, William, and my mum isn't in the best of health either, so I know how it is. We've all got things that we didn't talk, that nobody knows about, and it's not until somebody says something about it, but then nobody asked about anybody's personal issues behind the scenes. We just come out on as creators. We don't talk about what we're going through as in outside of YouTube, unless somebody asks you as in personally how you are, and until you actually open up. So we don't know what other people's going through until they actually talk about it. And it's amazing what they said in the chat, as in, and then you go, wow, as in you think you've got a problem, or as in you're going through a predicament that only you're going through, and then you eventually hear it from somebody else that they've went, and that's why some people click to each other, because they're going through the same thing, and they end up they click, and they go, well, why have I clicked with you? How come I seem to be on your wavelength? Because they're going through the same scenario, or slightly the same scenario that we are going through, and that's why it's like God has said you have to click on to William or whatever, and it's like as if you're told, but you don't know the reason why, because it's not as if they've came to me and said, "Oh, by the way, I'm your friend now." So you eventually go, "Well, how have I clicked with such and such, and how have I clicked with this one?" Because you're going through similar experiences at the moment. William, that's why people are jumping into the UK, because the way your system is over here is different to your system over there. Because I totally understand what you're saying there. It's expensive to pay for healthcare and facilities. Because I know you get actually an invoice. It's like an invoice sheet, as in through the post, telling you, well, you've just got £50,000 of medical care to pay for, and you have to do it in such amount of time as needs to be paid back in. But our system totally works different to your system over there. And people go, but how come their system over there is different to your system? Because they took the same law, but they changed the laws as in the agreements inside the law agreements, as in like clause, like say for instance a lawyer's reading 39 section 39 and it's paragraph, your paragraph might be paragraph A, but our paragraph is like paragraph C, and it'll say as in paragraph C, section 3 they've to read, so they've to miss part of that section or whatever and leave on the next part of it. Currently my grandmother's is a skilled nursing on hospice, about $20 per day. I've missed part of that what Ink said. I suppose I talk about my personal problems here in these chats because you're all closer than immediate family as in I'm black sheep of the family. As if they don't talk to you, but they ask how you are to another family member, and you're like, well, why don't you ask me? Why don't you come and ask me instead of asking them as in if I'm alright? I never could understand that with family. As in, there's, as you said, there's always one that's the black sheep. It's as if everybody else couldn't do anything wrong, but you're the one that actually gets the blame of everything. So you feel like, as Freakin's just said, the black sheep. I'm the black sheep of the family. Nobody likes me. I'm the one that's hated by everybody. I can't do nothing right in their eyes. That one. I totally get that. My family, as in they'll go through my mum, and then how is that, and whatever else, and I'm thinking, but you can't even be bothered to talk to me, as in, and ask how I'm doing, as in directly to me. You've got to ask somebody else in the family how I'm doing. I'm like, you know where I am? I'm on Facebook. You could have dropped me a message in Messenger and I asked how I'm alright. Am I alright? She got too sick for me to care of, and the doctor at the hospital said, she's skilled nursing, but her health went downhill fast, so I had to sign a, don't know what that DNR is, and hire hospice for her. I wouldn't take the jobs, so my whole family disowned me. They wouldn't even let me see my mum for the whole pandemic. That's fucking ridiculous. Freaking. See, that's the same as when Rick Pallet is when he passed away. freaking, as you said, as in everybody's put their condolences, as in even in the timeline, and it's his wife or his partner that's sending the condolences back or whatever, because everybody's saying as in what words or whatever to her, as in because of how well everybody liked Rick, as in and I put something about in a comment. I put to her something about that in the coin community. He is not forgotten, or the coin member is not forgotten. Although they're not, although they're not blood blood related, something to the effects about, because you think about it as in as a family, right? Now, if you think about a community, so you're on an estate and you're not known on that estate, right? You're a new face, so everybody's like, well, who's this person or whatever? So they eventually get to know that person, and he becomes one of the members of that estate. So basically, an estate is like a family who have grown within the community. And that's what I like about the YouTube family or the coin community, because they are a massive family, but you don't realise how massive family they actually are. It's not until you actually stop and you're like, hold on a minute, he knows him and she knows her, and that one knows him, and know what I mean? And then you think, fucking hell, this is a lot to take in. But then when you start to get to know people, you're like, they're not as bad as what I thought they were. And then end up, you get told a lot of bits and pieces as the information, or people start dropping bits of information. But I don't listen to gossip or what somebody else says, because I'm like, well, I don't want to take your word for whoever, because why should you be talking about them? Unless it's all right talking about somebody in a positive way, but see when people start talking about people in a negative way, I'm like, why do you have to do that for? Why do you have to, as in, be negative about that person? Okay, he might have made a mistake or he done something wrong, but he needs to fix it. No, you telling everybody, as in that he's done this and she's done that and he went away and did this. Okay, you're making people aware of the situation, but why should they get involved? Why should they be involved, as in that you have to pick sides of who's right and who's wrong? Yeah, I'm not a fan of them either, William. Alright, DNR is not to revive form, so she is. So if she happens to die, they won't resuscitate her. Alright. I don't like these road rehab facilities. When my girlfriend's mum came back, she had aphasia, could barely talk. Now it's a word once in a while. But but I'm not a fan of them either, William E. But I didn't have a choice. I believe you're doing what is right for you and your family. And as you are the stand-up guy for your family, I respect your decisions for being the best thing, Inc. Man. But as I'm saying, you don't know somebody else's situation until they tell you as in what they're going through. But I always love, even though I'm the host, I love when you guys interact with each other, but I'm also reading what you are writing, as in within the chat, and trying to follow exactly what's going on to try and understand where you are coming from. Because it's not just about It's not just about me, even although that it's my channel. I'm only hosting it. User the real MVP, as was says, user the real MVPs. User what makes the channel. Use guys are what make the channel. I just host it. I just come up with an idea and I'm like, right, I'll throw this out and see if it works. And then sometimes I'm like, did that work? Did that work well? Did that work well? And then I look at the analytics and I'm like, well, that one says 40 odd. That one get 40 odd views and that one gets 60 odd views. But what did I do for that one to this one? Did I say something different for that one to this one? Because that one's get more views than what that one is. It's not about the views. It's not about the views. It's about people enjoying us and coming to the channel and actually enjoying what we're doing as a full unit. As a full unit. That was the whole idea behind the game, was to do it as a full unit. So that everybody was getting as in something. Why am I getting fingers hurting and all sorts and skin actually closing over? And I don't know what's going on. And all the twinges, the thing we were off the ceiling and been picking at things as in picking, biting fingernails or biting bits of skin off our fingernails and all that. And as it's closing up, it's feeling as if it's tight. Right, well, where was we? Right. Descriptions of videos or live chats can help with any channel. Something it's the way you title it, or the way that it's put over, or the way it comes out. But sometimes I look at a video and I'm like, well, there's no point doing that video because somebody else has done it. But then I'm like, well, I spend a lot of time, exactly what Williams just said, just chilling with the crew. As I actually spend more time on YouTube and also on Facebook because I'm actually admin for. There's one group as in it's called Promote Your YouTube Channel. It's called Promote Your YouTube Channel group. But I'm also with another group which I'm not admin for, which is it's the Ike Dollars, and there's a few other places where I kick about in as well. But I don't tend to. I try not to comment because I'm like, sometimes I've commented and I maybe said something that I shouldn't have said, and fuck, here it comes. But I don't say nothing negative. It's usually what I feel as in about what I've seen or what I've heard, or as in a coin, what I think about a coin, or as in what. Because it's like when you see somebody's video and you're like that and you think, I've got the same coin, but then you're like, well, I do about the same coin. Because everybody has got their own way of doing it. And it's like, Faking could do it a certain way as and show a coin or whatever and go, this is a DD and all the rest, and explain it. And then there's somebody that could come on and they'll do a shot and all you'll see is a coin and they're showing it under a microscope and they're like as if they're pointing to bits and pieces yet, and there's no words. There's no words on it at all. And then everybody's liking it and commenting to it and everything. And then you see the views as and going up and up and up and through the roof, and you think, well, why is that one more popular than what mine's is? Although that I've done all the information and the input about the coin, the history of the coin, why it's got a DD, whatever it is, where the die clash was on, it and all the rest. And then you think, well, I've done all that and gave all that information out for nothing, for free, and I'm not getting what I want, as in the views or the comments or the people viewing it. That video itself, although that you've put in the hard work and the dedication to show the coin and talk about the coin itself in particular, and why it's got that error on it in the first place, or how you think that it managed to get that error in the first place. I'm thinking, I never gave anybody a number, because Ink needs a number, as in, because he should have picked a number, as in, because there's David that should have a number. David should have a number. Ink should have a number because he's paid into the shipping pot fund. Ink, David, Sean, as an Irish collector, and was Paulie as well, Paul Hampton, David Carlisle, Ink Man, an Irish collector. They've got to get numbers, because Paulie usually got number 4. Because I need the numbers so to make the decider for the GAWs, because that's what I need the numbers for, as in for the GAWs, because there's only 4 GAWs to be put out in first, second and third prize. I spend more time on YouTube outside of work than anywhere else, William. I know some people do, I think, because they don't watch news, they don't watch news, they don't listen to news, and they don't read a newspaper, they don't read a newspaper. Freaking even if I didn't become monetized, I would still do the game. I would still do it, whether I become monetized or not. Because it's the fact as in, it gives something back to the supporters who actually support the channel, as in stuff that I don't actually need. I only need 2 or 3 of the same coin. I don't need 30 of the same coin, or 20 odd of the same coin. So that was the whole idea, to gain something back. Have you ever looked at your actual watch time? It's crazy. The worst day is, William, after the 365 days, they actually surge most of the hours back from you, the watchers. So when you look at it and you look at the watchers and you go, my God, there's only 296 minutes, and you go, that's fuck all. And then you look, so you've got to do 4,000 watchers per year within the 365 days. So you've got to keep that up when you become monetized as well, as you keep there, or they take that monetization away. Because I'm thinking, hold on a minute, you get a green tick, surely they couldn't take it back for you. But you've got to do 4,000 watchers per year, and you've got to keep that up. Right, I get you, William. Aye. I'm talking about how much I actually watched YouTube. Aye. It shows you that as well, William, now. because every time you put a watch or a like to a video, even if you don't comment to it, it still loads it as in the time that you've been watching it. How long did you watch that for? Did you watch 30 minutes of it or less than 30 minutes of it? As in, I watched 25 seconds of that one. I watched 2 minutes of that, 2 minutes of that video. My average is 8.5 hours a day. I go in and off for phases, William. I'll go, like, say for instance, I'll go in to watch coins or whatever people's doing in their community, and then I'll go to like Ian's videos, which is scrapper videos. Then I'll go to like, as in say, I'll watch ones where they're salvaging cars, where they bought a car for co-part and they're fixing it. And then I go on another phase where I'll go and watch somebody playing a fruit machine or a slot machine. So I sit there for hours watching, trying to understand what they're actually doing in that thing. I love when they're cutting up something. But then I like ones where they're stripping something and then rebuilding it. And then there's ones where they're they're cleaning it, as in where everything gets pulled apart and they're sitting there cleaning it. But then you get fed up with watching them clean every bloody part of it, and you're trying to skip to the next bit or try to fast forward it so to get to the next bit of it. I notice you haven't posted. Freaking awesome. I look for the blue dot. See, the thing is, William, some people's got like 2 channels. Some people's got like 3 channels. So what they'll do is they'll put a video on one channel and then they'll do another video and they put it on the second channel and then they'll do another video and they put it on the third channel. So you end up having to skip about 3 different places to find the video that you're looking for. And then there's some people that's like, well, I can't handle 3 channels at once. And then there's ones that go, well, I'll just put everything as in every video that I do on one channel, but they don't put it like in a playlist, so you've got to go through them individually. And then there's some people who will start making up a playlist, and it'll be under a playlist, as in you go, there's 15 videos of that, and 3 videos of this, and 5 videos of that. Because we do all support each other. Just sometimes you don't get to watch all the videos, and then there's other videos that are better than others. And then you go, well, I watched that video, but I don't want to watch that video because I've already seen a video similar to that video. But you don't want to turn and say to the person, well, I didn't like that video. Because you're going to have to answer, well, why didn't you like that video in the first? Why didn't you like that video? Well, I can't tell you what I liked, why I didn't like it. But I've watched similar videos, the same as that, and they were done similar way to that. But everybody does it differently to the next person. You might watch the same video for 3 different people. See, that's what Melissa says. Freaking sometimes I come up with good ideas. Sometimes I'll come up with blinding ideas and they'll just hit me. But then there's times where I'll talk about something and then I'll go, what did I just say there? And somebody will just take that bit of advice. To them, it's like a piece of advice or a piece of information that I've just gave them, but I don't realise that I've did it because I'm thinking about the way, as in when somebody's talking about it in the chat, and then I'm thinking, well, I'm thinking about it as I'm a watcher, right? So I'm watching somebody's content, but I'm trying to figure out why I like it, because when they start asking the questions of Why did you like that video? What did you think about this video? So they want your opinion to review it. So it's like doing a review. It's like doing a product review and saying, well, why didn't I like that product? So I've bought this product, but did I like the product? Did I like the quality of the product? Did I like the way it was manufactured? And you're trying to answer all these questions. But see, when you've got a survey, and it's like, say, for instance, eBay, right? eBay will do a survey every 6 months or whatever. They'll say, how did you get on with your service? What did you like about it? Rate it from 1 to 5. So you're trying to rate something, and you're like, well, how can I rate something if I don't understand the question in the first place that's just been asked? But if you explain it more, the question that you've just asked, I would understand it better, because we all have our own learning, a way of learning about certain things. Some are quicker than others. Some tend to, it takes a while for it to soak in what you've just said, or the way it's come across, or the way it's come out. It's like asking somebody a question and then you give them it a different way, and they're like, do you understand that one better than the other? Freaking, there's no right or wrong way of answering something, or as in asking a question. Sometimes you need to ask the question to get the right answer that you're looking for, or to the answer that you would like to hear, But sometimes you don't want to offend the person by the way it's said or the way that they think it's came across, because sometimes they can take it the wrong way and they get offended by it, or they get butthurt by it because you've turned around and said, no, I don't think you're right. I don't think you're right because of such and such. And you try and explain it to them and they're like, I didn't like what I just heard. But instead of taking it for two sides, because you have to think about it for, what if the boot was on the other foot? So I'm not a creator, but I'm a watcher, right? Or a listener to that content. Well, what did I feel? What did I think about what that person just said, or the way it came across as when they said it? But then sometimes it'll take me a couple of days for everything to soak in. And I'm like, but I don't give it like fucking, do you know what I mean, ranting and raving on a comment. If I don't understand something, I'll just not comment to it. I might just put a like to it, and then I maybe go back to it, or I maybe have listened to part of the video, but I don't make it that if somebody tells me, oh, by the way, the answer is what you just wrote is further on in the video. Well, I would go back and watch that video. Well, obviously I didn't watch the full of the video, but I try and watch a video from start to finish, because I'm like, maybe I've not picked up on the point that person is trying to make with whatever that was they were discussing in that video. So I'm looking for the point that he's going to try and make and when he's going to drop it, because I'm like, maybe it's not at the start of the video. Maybe I need to listen to it further on that video to find out the point he's trying to come to make in that video, and doing that video in the first place. Because it's like sometimes that I'll do my experience something that I feel that's wrong, like the time with the Amazon thing, as in maybe the product wasn't right at all, or maybe when they built the product or somebody had cut, because it was like when I did the one about the lengths of the wire, the heating element wire, it's felt as if that somebody had been measuring them and just cutting them at a certain size, and the size was either slightly longer or it was slightly shorter. And I was like, that's not 300 millimeters, because that's saying on the equipment, or the heating machine, the handheld heating machine, it's saying in the boat on the box it's 300 millimeters long. So surely that heating element would either be nearly 300 millimeters, or it'd be exactly 300 millimeters. And when it was actually another quarter of an inch longer, I was like, these are not cut properly. But they said 300 millimeters on it, and I was like, no, it's not 300 millimeters, no, and no way. And I actually took a measuring tape to it to figure out where I was right or wrong, because I was like, why is that not measuring up properly? Why is these longer than what they actually are? I'm putting it in this machine that should be getting healthy there, that pin to that pin, but it's not. It's not. It's actually longer than that pin, the pin, because there's like where the heating element was, right? So you got a handle there that comes down, it presses onto there, and there's like a heating element, and there's Teflon tape, right? So Teflon tape, you could fit Teflon tape, and it was perfect, but then the heating element was either too long or it was too short. And that's what fucking was pissing me off more than anything. I was like, this is pissing me off. I'm buying these heating elements. The heating elements were like £3 each, and the machine was like £20 odd for the actual machine. For the machine, and you get two spare. There was like a spare one that you put in, and then a spare one. Sometimes are measured in inches, an inch. Because that's what I'm saying, freaking. I was sitting like that with a measuring tape like that. I'm going, that's not 300 millimeters, no, in its right mind. And then I'm like, maybe the machine was built differently. And then I phoned the company up, and they goes, we've run out of stock now. And I was like, well, I wonder where they're getting their machines from, these machines, these hand sealers, and then putting more expensive price on top of it. So they're buying them in, and then so they're the middleman. And I was like, I wonder which one that they're buying. So what I done was I looked in the photograph, right? Looked in the photograph, and I spotted something on the photograph, and I was like, I'm going to search the whole internet until I find one exactly the spitting image of this. And that's what happened. I was like that, and then I think it was like 30 odd quid or something like that. And I was like, that's got to be, I was like, every heating element I buy from now on should be 300 millimeters, should fit that machine, should fit that. Because you don't like change them all the time. I wait until I burn them out, till I actually burn them out. They actually melt the eyelets off them. See, if you keep heating it and heating the heating element up, it'll burn the tape. All you do is take Teflon tape off, put a new Teflon tape on, and then, but when the element burns out, it'll not fire up. You see it sparking, and then you see it heating up at the bottom end there. I think they're measured in the I think there's inches, and then there's I think half inch, but then you've also got ones that is in inches, and then it says in millimeters. I try to answer the question that freaking gave me. Probably because China makes everything, and everything that even for the UK it says China. It was either China or Taiwan at one time. It was Taiwan, and then I think it changed over from Taiwan to China, and then end up, sometimes it'll say on the product, it'll say Taiwan, or if it's no Taiwan, it'll be China on it. I don't think the products are made like they used to be. Products used to be, when you bought them years ago, they were made to last, as in the quality was a lot better, as in the quality of the product. You could actually throw a product around about. Now it's cheap and nasty. It's like junk, as in you throw it maybe 3 or 4 times and it'll shatter. It'll shatter. But I remember the times when you could actually throw a product down the stairs or whatever and it would actually bounce. Like the old Motorola M388s. As in, I don't know many times that I dropped one, as in one of the M3788s back in the day, as in when I was running for the bus or whatever, and it's come out my pocket and it's skated across the car park, right across the car park. And there was one time I think it bounced and it hit a curb and it still didn't shatter. Eventually it broke. Eventually I'd put I had to put a housing on it. To put an actual housing on it. Didn't break the PCB board, but it damaged all the casing. I was like, right, it's time for the new casing. I think back then, I think the casings were like, the whole housing. I think the back cover, you got the back cover and the front cover, but no insides. There was no insides like a PCB. There was no PCB. It was just a black housing. But then they changed all the colours. There was like a blue. They done a blue. They done a yellow. They done a yellow. I think it was a grey. There was a grey. There was a black. There was a metallic. I think metallic blue or something. I think it was like a metallic champagne blue as well. They did. I think the full housing, I think were like £12 or something like that. But then I was like, well, walked into a phone shop and they were like £12. I was like, well, they're charging me more than what it cost as in for retail or for wholesale. I was like, I bet you any money I can get them at cost price me at wholesale. I bet you that, but if that's £12, you're charging me £12. I was like, I bet you you're only paying like £4 odd for the housings. Fun enough. What phone are you talking about? No, what phone are you talking about? I think talking about that one. That's 60. That's a 6310 one with no camera on it. They're good deals because they've got the infrared. That's why the people go after them. They were using them for business at one time, as in because you could use a Bluetooth, as in because of the infrared on them. I just bought them as in like 10 of them mixed, like 27, I think, well, like £27.13 for straight direct for China through AliExpress. Because I was like, well, if I buy 3 of them, 2 of them, 10 of them, a couple of boards, I think, as well. I think it was a couple of boards as well, as in like test boards or something like that. I was like 80 odd quid or something like that. Because I was like, well, it's cheaper for me to buy a full bulk load, and it ends up as cheaper for shipping because you can only put one price on the shipping. Because I was like, well, it was £12 or £15 shipping, because it jumped up to about £20 odd in shipping, and at the time the facials were like £6, and I was like, well, I'm not paying tax and all the rest on that, and then paying £20 odd and just shipping alone. I was like, I'm better buying a full bulk load, as in maybe 5 or 6 bits for AliExpress and doing it as a full bulk lot and paying 70 quid for the whole bulk lot to come here. It means then I've got 3 or 4 phones that I can do up. You get the 5110, they done the 5110, they done a 6110, they done a 7110, they done a 7110, and I think it went on an 80 something one. They went on a 32, they done a 3210, then they done a 3310, 3330, 3410, then they done a 3510, they done a 3510, they done a 62, a 6150, they done a 6150, 6150, done a 6170, I think they done a 6170, then he went on to an 8210, which is a smaller edition, 82, because what Nokia did was they jumped different models. They went for a 51, then a 32, and then they reverted back, as in thing when they were doing them. You could throw them. You could throw them. My boss said a brick Motorola, the big brick Motorola, but this was before the digital society came in. They actually would switch them on. They were like a Logic or something. I think they were called Logic, but they were a big. And I remember that thing falling off a motor a few times. And he actually, I think he tried sticking it up somebody's nose, fucking aerial one time, and he went away at my dad. Right? He went away at my dad, and he's like, and he's pointing at it like with my. Mom man says, I'll take that phone off you, fucking stick it right up your thing, mate, right up your ass with that on that antenna. It was a rubber antenna. It was about the rubber antenna itself was about that in length. Mom man says, I'll take that, fucking stick it somewhere we don't want it. She's sitting there pointing at me. She's telling me, don't point that at me. She's, I'll take that right off you and ram it right down your throat. And somebody eventually stole that phone. He had it one night. Somebody stole it. I think he went somewhere. He was talking to somebody. Fucking fucking whipped it. Seen it. I'm like, fucking this was a wee quid. Fucking stole it, took it at him. He phoned the cunt up, says to cunt, I'll meet you. Cunt says, I'm not meeting you. Fucking, I know, you go fucking belt me one. He's like, I'll give you, he's like, I'll give you 100 quid for the phone or something. It was more the number he wanted, the number, because they used to give the number out as number out, and he had this number, and he had it for years as the guy we used to work for, and it wasn't the phone he wanted back. It was because he had to have the phone to get so that they would take the number back, because it was all Logic. They used to, it didn't have a SIM card. It wasn't until later on that they eventually put a SIM card in it. Some cunt whipped it. Remember him coming back that night. Some cunt fucking knocked my phone. What? Somebody wanted that old piece of shite. Who would want that? He phoned the guy up. Says, you've got my phone. If you meet me at such and such, I'll give you £80 for to get it back. He went away out to get it, and he fucking stood there and can't never turn up. That's why no wonder the cunt never turn up, because he knew what he got doing. Motorola, they called it a Motorola brick phone. Called Motorola brick phone. I'm sure that's what they called it. I'm trying to think if I see one, if I can remember. I know what it looks like, but I can't. I'm trying to think what they called it, what that was. It gets stuffed again. Aye, exactly. Because there's there, rare 20 pence dubbed the holy grail of coin collecting, sells for huge sum. And it's the Worcester News. Metal detectorists unearths 8 silver coins in Derbyshire field. Is that? William, he robbed the cunt robbed his phone, but he never even seen him there. All of a sudden he turned round, he get his phone or whatever, Motorola, he put it on top of it. He was talking to somebody, and he put it on top of the motor that he was standing beside the guy while he was talking, and all of a sudden he turned back round and he thought he left it on top of the motor when he drove off. The man when he drove off. And when he stopped, he realised the phone, he didn't have it. So he's like, well, where was the last place I was with the phone? And it wasn't as if he went back. He phoned the other motor trader up and says, says, he says, while you were talking to me, he says, some can't whipped it. So he phoned the number because he remembered the number and he phoned it. And he says to the guy on the phone, he says, if you give me back my phone, he says, I pay for it so that you get it back. He says, and the guy says, no, he says, I'm not coming. I'm not coming because he goes, I know what you'll do. He says, no, he says, honestly, he says, I'd rather the phone back. He says, I'll give you £100 for to give me the phone back. And the guy turned and he says, I'll meet you at such and such. But when the wee man turned up to meet the guy didn't turn up. And then he told us about it in the morning, saying that he went out to meet this guy. And I thought, no wonder the guy didn't turn up. But the guy turned the phone off so that he wouldn't keep phoning the phone, although he nicked it. I'm trying to think that they called it Motorola. Was it called it Motorola brick phone? That's they've made a newer edition of it. I think that one's in cream. That one's in cream. His one wasn't in cream. His one was like a grey. It was like smoke grey black, but it was like smoke grey in colour. That was the colour of it. because somebody's changed the aerial on that, because it should be a rubber. It should be like a rubber. It shouldn't be like a metal. It shouldn't be like a metal one. It should be actually rubber. The metal's actually encapsulated inside the rubber actual antenna itself. Because you could actually go like I used to do that with it, as in ping it. Because that looks very much like one, like the one that he had years ago. Hold on, I need to open it up a minute. I see it, Brian, it says on it. Oh my god. That's no 6230, that's 6230, 6230i. That one there's a 30, that's a 33, that's a 3310 there. I don't know what that one is in the far away one, but I know that's 6230i. I've got a full load of them 6230i's. I've done a few of them up. The 33s. The 33s are famous for the fingers. There's four fingers at the top, and they're prone to actually destroying themselves, as in when they go fatigued and end up with break the pinpoints off. You can buy the pinpoint. You can buy the fingers. You can buy the fingers separately, as in and put the fingers in, because you drop in. You take the full front of the casing off. Take six screws off. Take the whole screen out of it. Take the PCB board out off it. And then what you do is you flip it up the other way, and there's like a clip. You turn the clip and it'll come out. It drops out. They done one at 33, and they done it with done data one. They made it into data one, as in for unlocking phones. I know, and I've got another guy, 710, who actually does the batteries up in them. He actually takes them apart and puts new cells in them. As in that guy, Gita Pasalia, is in me. He's got a YouTube channel. He's calls himself Vintage Phones Archive. He actually does reviews and all that, or the older retro stuff. But he does actually the cell packs, the gel. He calls them gel packs. The gel pack, the battery gel pack. What he does is he cuts the plastic, as in the battery, and takes the whole battery out of them. But he says you got to be careful of them. He says because they can explode. He says if you don't do them right. He says even with heating them with solder, man, so you got to be very careful when you're doing them. But because he's done them so many times, so for so long, he's really good at them. Brent Palm. I know what the one he's talking about when he says a Palm phone. That's the one with it's got I've seen one. I know it does sound like sex, doesn't it? 6. I think it's the way I talk. I'm sure it. The day they pinged every phone. The day they pinged every phone in the States, I got pinged. They turned the 2G. I'm sure there was some kind of write up somewhere along the line, and I'm sure that something was said about they turned the 2G off. They turned it off. I never knew they could actually turn 2G generation off. So they must have turned the signal or the signal frequency off for it to stop them from being able to work, as in the 2G stuff, the 2G phones. Do you know how I knew that was a 6230i? Because the casing, the way it's designed, that's the one with the camera in the back. That's the one with the camera in the back here. That's the ones that I've started collecting or the ones that I started doing up, because people, when somebody goes away on holiday, right? Now you think about it, right? You've got an expensive phone, you take it on holiday and you lose it. You're going to actually be, you're going to be frustrated at yourself. But if you take an old phone with you, even if it doesn't work, right, at least you can use the camera. Because what does people do when they're on holiday? They take pictures and take video footage. Now, if you can put video footage or take video footage on a phone, you can take it home with you and put it on a USB, as in a USB charger or a USB, and put it into a hard drive, as in to download the pictures. I used to sell cheap phones all the time, and the only reason why I used to sell the cheap phones is because people wanted them for emergency, for to throw in the car or whatever. So if somebody smashed the window, it's only a cheap phone anyway, so they weren't really worried about it. Is your ear getting bigger from the 5G phones? It's only the fifth generation. People go like that. 5G, it's faster. It's no. What they did was there was the first generation phone, then the second generation phone, but they never talked about the first generation. They called the next one a 2G, and then you had the third generation phone, but now we're on to the fifth generation phone. I like the old phones. I do like the old phones. I always did. I'm gonna get in touch with him later on. I am changing the items to buy it now, so you can purchase them. I will do the card for £4. Buy it now, but I think the Nokia needs to be £2. So £21 without the postage, because he wants £15 for the job lot of iPhones. I think there's two. I think there's either one iPhone 4, there's two iPhone 5, and there's two iPhone 6. I think one's a 6 and one's a 6S. But all I need it for is the screen off it, because it's cheaper for me to buy a complete phone rather than just pay for the screen on its own, because the screen will be about between £10 and £15. If I buy it as a job lot at £15, then it means then I get part of my money back if I even get two of them working. If I can get two of them working and use two of them up for parts, and then that's paid itself, it means then I can put the other iPhone 6s on, Because I'm thinking, well, if I can get them 2 iPhone 6s working and I put them 2 with Chinar's ones that I've got, the ones that are damaged, it means then somebody will buy them. That's fine, William. Okay, I'm going to take a shower and a quick nap. See you all later. That's fine. I'm not really worried if we don't do the wheel tonight, as in even if we do a full talk or whatever, a full rant on about different things, because that's the whole idea of the chat, is to chat about different things. Because that's, I'm looking in the notes as in he sent, as in Stephen Darts, because I've got plenty of them SGHE 900 spares, because it says everything on eBay now, it says I broke stacker, everything on eBay now says as in either parts only or it says spares and repair. Because there's a job lot there. There's two Samsungs. That one's a Nokia. Nokia Lumia at the end, and then you've got two iPhones. It says mobile phone job lot, Apple, Samsung, Nokia, faulty for spares or repair. It says for parts not working, and it's done bids of £26. But the only reason it's done that kind of money because they all power up. So they all power up, but it'll say underneath it, it'll say there's £5.99, as in £5.99 standard delivery, as in the United Kingdom. It says location in Grays, and it says Apple job lot, or says mobile phone job lot, Apple, Samsung, Nokia, faulty for spares or repair. This lot includes 5 mobiles, Samsung S5, battery drains fast, other features do work, has not been reset, not tested further. So what it means is that it'll either have a Google account still attached to that phone, or it'll have a PIN code, but it doesn't show the PIN code, so it's been reset, but it still might have a Google account attached to that phone. And then it says Apple iPhone 6s screen has crack. It is also iCloud locked. Reason why it's iCloud locked is because somebody has forgotten to remove the account from the device. That's what they've done. That's exactly what they've done. Because the 6 up to the 13, I think it is, the 6 to the 13, there is a bypass for it, for the iCloud to bypass it. Because there it says Nokia Lumia 900 turns on full unknown. But that'll do more money, as in, because it's got like a day left on it. It's like a day and whatever to run still on that. A day. But the price of stuff's gone up, as in it's gone up. It's jumped up. But then sometimes you wonder, is it the fact that they're causing it to do that, as in the way that the world is at the moment, because the price of stuff's gone up, because of the economy, or is it just that people are trying to get rid of and the means in the less stuff there is, as in good quality stock, as in basically the prices goes up in that? Because there's one I looked at, as in a Samsung SGH E900 black mobile phone, spares and repair with the charger, £5, as in starting bid £5. So that's why I started buying pennies, because it was cheaper. It was the same price as scrap phone. That's what I said, the scrap phones. I buying a scrap phone. Because you can pick up a phone for £2 and up, £2 upwards. I was picking them up for £2 a pop, £2 a pop at the time, the car boot sale. The thing is, it's buying the stuff that is in good condition, because good conditions, clean stock, you can easily shift it. The better it looks, the more chance of selling it. The worse that it looks, nobody will buy it, because they go, oh, that's a heap of shite. It's like seeing a motor and it's not the prettiest looking thing on the planet, right? So you wouldn't buy it, as in if it was like clean or all washed up and looking as in with a shine on it. Somebody looks at that and goes, that's a nice motor, somebody's looked after that. But see if it's shabby looking and untidy and unkempt, people just walk away from it. And they do that with stuff as on eBay. If you see it and it's not even been done or even been tested, you look at something and you go, is that worth buying it? But then there's others that will go like, look at something and go, they look a bit further and they go, that's worth buying because it's untidy looking now, but I can tidy it up, make it look better. Maybe I'll get a couple of pound more than I paid for it back. But there's other people that would be quite happy tidying something up, making it look a picture, and then put it back on eBay, and they get their money back and a wee bit extra. And they're quite happy doing that because they're doing it to pass the time. I do it sometimes to pass the time, to keep my mind occupied, because I get fed up and bored. I'm bored. I don't want. And then I go, will I go and do coins, or will I pull out coins, or will I know? And then I go, nah, it's not really coins are for YouTube. I'd rather leave them until I'm ready to show coins and then let you see the guys' coins. But phones you are not really interested in. So I'm like, well, the phones are not really interesting, so I might as well not bother about the phones. But I did put it onto the channel about phones or whatever. But then I was like, well, nobody's really interested in that side of it, so I'll not really bother about that side. Because I got, what did I buy the other week there? I think what ones I bought. Because I bought that one. I bought that one with that one. I think it was like £9. I think it was off a guy, £9, and I think they were like £12, but they didn't have any batteries in them. They, I think it said untested. There were six. There was Nokia Lumia 650, and I looked at them and I thought £12. I thought it's a bit much for them, but then I thought, well, £6 each, and I thought, but they're too clean. I thought they're too clean, and I says to the guy, I asked him about them, and he says, I just bought them in job lot. He says, I just put them on. He says, but he says, they're untested. He says, that's the way you buy them. And I looked at the picture of them and I thought, they're too clean. For it. And I thought, I bet you any money they've got any batteries in them. I says, I bet you that's why. Some people, what they'll do is they'll buy a job lot on eBay, and then what they'll do is they'll take the ones that have got a battery in them, pile them up or whatever, and put them back on again, as in powered up, or say in them that it powers up, because they don't want to do further tests because they're frightened that there's something faulty, but they're only interested in getting most of their money back. But there's other people that put religiously stuff on eBay and it'll say untested, and because it's not got a battery in it, or they can't be bothered charging it or even testing it, or even trying to put a battery in it, or try to find a battery that may be fit, because I've done it before. I've done it on many occasions. Got a battery that nearly fitted the phone and put it at an angle just to get power on into it, or to power it up, just to see if it would light up. Because that's the first thing I usually do. When I usually take a phone in or take a job lot in, I usually assess it before I even try to power it up. I've got it upside down. I'm looking for any cracks or any damage of any sort, as in a damage. When I assess it, especially when I bought it, because all I'm looking at in a picture is, does it look does it look intact? Does it look complete? Because see, if I see a picture or I look at pictures and it's in bits, or the phone's in bits, I don't want it. I'm fucking interested in it. I'm like, it's too far gone. Unless I'm looking for a part. Unless I'm looking for a part, and I try and buy the cheapest one for parts. But if I'm looking for a job lot or something particular, as in parts or whatever, because it's like them, I bought, what was it, the other week there? Was it 6003s? 6003s, two of them. Brought them in, said 40 on them, £12. Got them in. Thought, I've got three of them laying next door. Goes in next door. Puts the battery in one. When they power up, I thought, I'm sure that battery was fine, and that battery I took out, I'm sure that battery worked. Put it in another phone, lit up. I thought, that's fucking weird, that's weird. So that's weird. Powers up in that. It's very low in power. Thought, well, no wonder that when they power up, goes and puts it on the charger on another one, takes it back out again, puts it in another one. The one two that I bought, 240s, powers it up. Fucking screens, the screen's not smashed, but the liquid is all in on the liquid is coming out the screen. I thought, that was fucking a bad buy, that one. I thought, £12. So goes on eBay. I thought, I'm going to go to special offers. I goes, because I'm sure the special offers they had 6003s, as in time incomplete, £4. It was like £4.49. Goes on eBay, can't find them. So that's weird. I'm sure I seen these last week. Sure he's still got some left. Because I'm thinking he's got more than a couple of them. Because usually gets a whole load of them in. Goes to the watch list. Goes down the watch list. 6003s. Goes down, he's got 3 listings of them. Looks at the description. One's got a broken screen. Goes, well, that's not a point of getting that. So, goes to order them up. I sees best offer. I'm thinking, well, I want 3 at least, because I need 2 for them screens, as in to take screens out of them. I thought, and I need another one for to tidy one up. I thought, because I need a screen for the other one that's in the room. I thought, because I've got good buttons. Because usually if I see if I have a phone and it's needing a set of buttons or it needs a housing, I usually will buy a donor for it to take either the housing off a good one to put on the one that I'm going to do up. Because I always make sure, because I got a tendency that I like to see something tidy and presented well. Because my old man used to say to me, son, he says, presentation is key. He says, if you look at something and the presentation is right, he says, more times out of 10, that'll sell. He says, and you could ask what you like for it, and people pay it. Because the fact is, some people are that lazy that they can't be bothered. It's like if they were using a Hoover, right, And say, for instance, they were using the Hoover the day before, right? And you got to plug that Hoover in and it doesn't power up. They go and buy another Hoover. They fling it out. Instead of actually going and thinking, well, how come it's not coming on? And try and fix it. But there's some of us that will fix something. But then it's what they call a throwaway society nowadays. And people just throw it to fuck. But there's other people like us as and that come about and go, oh, my old man used to do it. My old man used to see something out in the bin. He was the first to pull that fucking thing out the bin. I'm like, aye, you fucking nuts pulling that out the bin. It's too clean. He's like, it'll fix. He's like, I bet you any money. He's like, I bet. He's like, before he would pull it out the bin, he'd be like, I bet you any money. He says it'll be a plug or the cable's broken inside it. He goes, I bet you any money. I'll have that in less than an hour. I'll have that fixed and working. I just looked at him and went, you fucking nuts, taking that out of the bin. Taking that out in the bin in the first place. Out the street, outside the street. Take it out of a black bin, because used to be black bin bags, now it's not. There's a plastic billy bin. He'd be fucking out there, lads, and as soon as he spotted something, taking it out of the bin and bringing it indoors. Mum used to go after him, as and bring that in here, don't bring that in here, fucking hang me, all dirty fucking clatty thing. Oh, Mum would be like, take it. It's like, well, if she doesn't want it indoors, I take her in the back, and wait till she's away. Then bring it in. He'd have it tidied up and thing me all cleaned up and all the rest, fucking away, and then take it to car boot sale the next week. I was fucking world's worst for that. He was the world's worst small man. He was only worried about asking me for drink money. But that's what I'm saying, that was the worst part of him. Was the drink. Or the demon drink. Because as soon as you get a drink in them, it wasn't a case of go for one. It would be a full night spend there, and then he'd come back in here, and then he would see something that would catch his eye, and then sometimes he would throw the fucking, you'd hear him down the stairs and down me throw he'd throw the dishes in the sink, but it was the way you would throw it in, you would actually know it was in a kind of mood. And you're like, just stay out his road, don't even fucking speak to him, because as soon as you spoke to him, he would start an argument, so he would, as in especially when when I drink in him. That was the worst part of him. See, if he didn't have a drink in him, he was fine. The fucking best person you could ever meet, plausible as anything, as in gentle giant, the day you turn, as in if we could help you, we'd help you, but fucking as soon as you get in that drink, fucking different animal, total fucking different animal. Oh no, here he comes, fucking, and he always pick a fight with me. Come here, you're my account to do this. I tell you to hang me to get that done before I come in. You haven't fucking done it. And I was like, I have. No, you didn't. You didn't do it right the way I wanted it. And then he would say something, and then he would go, I'm fucking, I rule the house, I rule this place. And I thought, no, you fucking don't. It's Mum's name, it's on the lease. It's Mum's name, it's on the rent book. Because that's when Mum could never forgive him when he walked out and he ended up, we get evicted for the flat and we end up with no place to stay, and then he fucked off and left her with me and my sister, and man never forgave him with that, as in forgetting I was kicked out and then fucking off. He fucked off and we ended up, me, my sister ended up at we ended up at the bed and breakfast, as in the Stephen Hotel, the Sun Hotel, and I went from the Sun Hotel to the one at Netherton Road. And I always remember him coming back that day, coming back when we were at Netherton Road, as in to see how sorry he was and all the rest, and fucking as in to pacifier. And she took him back. That was her problem. Mum was too soft on the old man. Took him back, and then when we left, he decided he had enough because the two of them. He used to wind her up. My old man used to wind her up to fuck. And she actually thought she was losing her marbles. Mum thought she was losing her marbles. And he used to do it on purpose, deliberately on purpose, to wind her up. And he turned around and says, I'm fucking off, I've had enough of her or whatever, and go to his own flat. And then end up, she was coming and going to hang me as in to keep him company, whatever else, as when he had the flat at Murray. And then he had the two accidents, and then he hung me, he took a stroke, took a heart attack, and then I think he took a stroke as well. And then she took him back, and then ended up found two blood clots in his head. Then he ended up with a vascular dementia. Then he had one side of his body that it was as if it went dead on one side of his body. I think it was on the left side. Was it on the left side or the right side? He was in the toilet. No, I think it was his right side. I think it was his right side that he hung me, right side. Fucking sure it was his right side, his body. The right side. Because if he was turned around and hung me in the toilet, I remember him fucking when he was sitting in the toilet up in there. If he was sitting that way, that's the left side of your body. On this side, left side. It was fucking that side he had his thing with his arm on. So it must have been his right side of his body then. Well, right side he couldn't feel or something. Something fucking, I think it went weak. I think it was weak on one side. That's after the thing with after that, but the last time he but I used to go with him when I was 13. I always remember when I went when I was 13. I used to fuck about with him when I was like 8 or 9 year old as and when he used to do motors on the street. Because I actually wanted to be like him, be able to do the jobs that he did. I think that's what it was me, but I always wanted off him that he was proud of us. But I never ever got that. He never ever said that. Maybe he hung me in his own way. He did. He was proud of us, but I never ever got him actually to say it. And I think that's what the main part of it was. I always get, you're stupid, you're thick. And I used to sit and watch him do certain jobs. And I used to ask him questions and all that. And sometimes he hated me when I would ask him questions. But the questions were because I was learning, as in wanted to know exactly what he was doing and why he was doing it for in the first place, to understand how it was done. Because I can't spray paint as good as what he could, or actually anyway. Because I used to watch him when he was cataloging something, and it was the way he used to do it, as in it was like an art. To me, it was like an art, as in putting on catalog, actually spreading it. Sitting there watching for hours, spreading it and all that. But you just rub it down, he's like that, and then show me how to rub it down and all that carry on. But I'm alright with the mechanics now. I can do all the mechanics. It's not a problem with mechanics now. But I'm not a full trained mechanic. I've not got trade papers that say I'm a mechanic to trade. But I can do mechanics. I can do it myself. I can put my hand to it. But when it comes to actually spraying, I'm not so good. It's alright with a like an airbrush because it's only it's got less air pressure but trying to actually do it with a full as in a spray gun is a total different ball game as in with higher pressure in it and end up trying to get it without getting runs and paint because you're only supposed to put on like light coats, like haze it, and then put it overlap it. It's a fine art in its own. He was fucking brilliant at it, but he was really good at it. So he was. But I think the problem was is the pressure was too much for him because he felt as if it was always on his shoulders. Because we being a painter, it's a case of if you get defects or something happens while you're painting it, it's your name that's on it, so you have to fix it. And I think that's what even was worse when he would do a painting and he would think he'd got the right conditions or whatever, and all of a sudden you would hit a problem where maybe like the motor would start reacting. So it was like as if it was a different paint that was on the motor or whatever, or that it maybe there was wax still on it, or as in maybe the cleaning material that was on it before. Hi Anna. Anna, you need to come a bit more often as in ring me if we're doing the game. Because you don't pay nothing to be on the game. And at the end of the day, it's up to you where you, as in, help with shipping. But we just usually do a talk sometimes, as in sometimes the game, sometimes I'll put on the game or whatever, or I'll make up the game to do the game to start with, and then it ends up a full discussion, and then it'll roll over with the time or whatever, and then I'll think, well, there's no point in doing the game. But because there's no a lot of people in the chat, there's no point in doing the game, as in because without 12 people, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of space. Without 12 people in it, because Paul's still involved in it. David Carlisle's still involved in it. Irish Collector's still involved in it, and so is Inc. So that's four. So there's four that actually has got numbers, but the rest usually come about as in like William or whatever. So they always usually get a number. But we can do it another week. It's not a problem. Because usually what we do is I only use the numbers for the like the GAW now. Because the minimum prize, there's no point in doing it for that. Do you know what I mean? Because there's about there's 12 little bags made up of many prizes. So we don't need actually to spend them for them. If there's 12 of them done up, so 12 of them each, as and you get 12 numbers, and there's 12 people in the game. They've all got a minimum prize, so they don't feel left out. Because that was the whole idea behind the minimum prize, was to give them something at least, although they haven't paid for it. That's up to them if they want to donate. That's what I said. It was up to them for to donate, as in the shipping pot fund. Just makes it less for me to pull out my pocket. Means then that it helps me to be able to still to buy coins for the game in the first place. Because something I'm pulling out my own stash, and I'm like, fuck it. If I don't have it, then it's too bad. If it's not in my collection, thing me 1984 or whatever, I'm taking out the ones that I know that we can definitely get again without a problem. But it's the fact of being able to give something somebody as not be able to give them a slab as in as a first prize. But the reason why it's done at 1 to 12 is because it means then there's more a chance of people getting something. Because you don't want the same people winning all the time. You want different people winning. Because then that's when they turn and say, oh, the game's rigged, oh, the game's fixed, you fixed it. Hi, Andrew. No, because what I done is I done there it's there. So you've got like there's the Sacagawea behind there. So you've got like that as as prize 3. That's what is that again? Because that's the 26th to the 8th, that one. That's the That's the 7th president, Andrew Jackson, MS-64. Because that's the 63, the pet, as in the thing with the 50, the 58, the Sacagawea was taking it a roll. Because that's why I did the numbers first, so that basically, as in everybody gets a number from 1 to 12, so that basically, because the minimum prize is nothing to do with that's top prize, and then I've got 4 GWs as well. I was going to do because we didn't do it last week. Aye, happy birthday, happy birthday, Andrew, happy birthday. Because I did wish you a happy birthday over your timeline. Because I've got his own timeline, because sometimes it'll give me the notification a day before, or it'll give me on the day. Barbecue. Oh, I like a good barbecue. What did you have, Andrew? Did you have ribs, barbecue ribs, or did you have steak, barbecued steak, or barbecued pork? No, because I pulled out things that what I done was I went to the third box. And I seen the border force tape on it. I thought that's been opened already. I thought fuck it, I'll open them quick. And then I sat in the hall, and then I looked through it, and then I looked and I went 19 chicken burgers and sausages. Oh, lovely, Andrew. I like chicken burgers, but I like chicken burgers with the bread though. When it's done with the bread, the batter on it, and then it's like a chicken fillet burger, and then with nice mayonnaise. I bought mayonnaise, right, and it was the crappiest mayonnaise, and it was the horriblest taste ever. As and it was garlic mayo. It was fucking rank, and I was like, I'm never buying that again. They just had to cut the costs because the Heinz mayonnaise, because I like the Heinz mayonnaise because it's smooth and it's not got a taste to it. Actually, it's got like a creamy taste, and I like the Heinz one. But when I bought that other one, I was like, I'll never buy that one again. Burgers and sausages. Burnt sausages or barbecued sausages. Totally different barbecue, but it depends if you do them right. Some people mind me as in making black. Looks as if they're burnt. Looks as if they're burnt. Burnt to fuck. Put the frying pan on the barbecue. Put sausages in the frying pan. Oh, they're alright if they're just smoked barbecue sausages. But if you overdo them, they look as if they're burnt, as if they're black and burnt. Black and burnt as fuck. A burger's nice, son, but when it's done on a barbecue, that's in a flat burger. And chicken's actually alright when it's barbecued as well. I'm thinking of the chicken fillet burgers. Chicken fillet. It's chicken fillet and battered. Good mum just does them under the thingy, under the oven. The ones that we get out of, we get them out of Iceland. Cause she got this up. She come up the stairs this morning or this afternoon and says, "You wouldn't do me a favour." I says, "What's the favour?" She went, "We go shopping with me." I hate food shopping. I really do hate food shopping. But then I know why she wanted me to go with her. Because I was so that we could get a taxi because the fridge was empty. Because it's nearly about the end of the month. Because obviously we've ate everything. And I says to her about it. And it wasn't because I didn't want to go. I was like, I would have went, and she went, but I would rather wait till Tuesday. I said, well, can we not make do what we've got? She goes, but you'll have the same things that we've had during the week. I went, it doesn't really matter. I says, if you're getting a discount on the Tuesday, I says, it's better taking the discount. I says, because it's like pensioners day, and it's like 10% off at a shopping. So if, say, for instance, her messages say it came £170, actually, but £17 off it. So that's not bad, £17 off £170 worth of messages. I'm like, well, you're saving £17. This is better than saving fuck all. Because if she does it Saturday, it'll be full price. But that's only so that they come in and thing we spend. The only reason they put on the discounts as and like that is so that you come in and spend more. That's what I hope you do. You spend more than what you actually need. And you just get the usual as in what we usually get. As in so that the thing we does us for another month. Because if she's asked me up the road, that's basically because the thing with fridge is empty, the freezer's empty. And then she's away for like, I think, a week or something. Like fucking peace and quiet for a week. Or a week and 4 days. Well, she's away, so it means then that I can go on with what I need to go on with. Because I think I need to go on with eBay. I need to stop buying off of fucking eBay. The reason why I bought cut a bits is because I was like, well, I need iPhone 6. Now I was like, well, if I buy it in bulk, it actually comes out cheaper. Because I'd rather do a bulk purchase than actually have to spend like a couple of quid in each. Because like sometimes people overcharge you for the postage about like £6. I'm like, well, eight or £9 that I was getting, because I was getting Chinarl at £9 or whatever, and he would down make me up a box as maybe like 60 quid, a £60 worth of box, and then it'd be like £9 in postage. That was like 69, or maybe say take it to the nearest pound is like 70 quid on, as and then maybe I would get like maybe about 15 or 20 phones as in a box for £9. So I was like, well, why am I going to pay like £5 or £6, as in postage, it's overpriced, as in for one seller. There's only 2 fucking bits in it. I was like, it's better me getting 4 or 5 bits of different and mixed, even though it says as in for parts only or untested. I just look at something and I know straight away. Look at something and I go, that's worth buying, or that's worth as in that, or I'll work it out and I'll go, well, I think it's worth that in my own head. I'm like, I want to pay that for it. But it was nice to have numismatic cup. I wasn't sure if Skipper was going to come up, but then when he came up, I was like, yes. I was like, another guest. I was like, even better. Do you know what we should do? Know what I should do? What I should do is have a guest for a guest once a week, as in might like invite even Inkman, as in even one person up in panel, have like a guest speaker, as in to come up. So it's not like the same as in droning on or me droning on all the time. Because it would be nice to have different people up in the panel, as in that collect different coins, and for them to actually take coins out if they want, out their own collection or whatever, and let people see them. So it's not always as in about me, because I hate when it feels as if it's always about me, because this is not about me. It's not about me. I'm just the host. I just host it. I just come up with a plan of action or whatever. I take something out and go, right, put that together. I'll put that together. I think that might work. I'll go, right, well, let's put the game together or whatever. And then I maybe do it in like maybe I'll not do it like as in a couple of days before, because a couple of days I might go, can't be bored. And then I might go on the Saturday night or the Saturday before it kicks off at 7. I'll go, I need to put something together. So then I'll come up with something, go, right, go and dig in a box or go and look at something, go, right, that can go. Because that's what I done, looked at the drawers and went, I need to do that. I need to tidy them all away. And I thought, hold on a minute here. I thought, we put them under the microscope last week. I thought, hold on a minute. They could be used as minimum prizes. I'm doing them. But that's what I'm saying. There's no point in me doing the game if there's only 4s in the game. It's a lot better if there's 12s in the game, so 12s can play. That's the whole idea behind it. If there's enough people as in so and play, because there's like Andrew just come in then. It's a case of people that come in the chat will get a number. But there's people that are in the game because they paid the shipping pot fund. They might not want their stuff as in even want it, but they're going to get it anyway because they paid their thing, they paid for their shipping, they paid into the fund. So that was the whole idea of the fund in the first place, was to help with some of the cost. It wasn't a case of for them to pay for it. It was the fact it was going to cost me more to thing me for to do it, so it meant then it was more money at my own pocket. And I was like, well, if they help a bit, they chip in a bit, it means then you get more, you get more. Because I wouldn't stop doing the game as in just to turn around and say what it's costing me. Because that's what happened with, George decided, reason why George gave up doing the game or doing the things he was doing in his channel is because it was costing him an absolute fortune. By the time George worked it out, it was like $4,500 or whatever, or over $4,000 or whatever it was. So it was costing George a fortune. And that's why George decided to get a buy, because it was costing him an absolute fortune of putting it out there. It wasn't the fact of people getting it. It was the fact of nobody helping out. Nobody was helping out, so he was like, well, why should I do this and give everybody something for free when I paid for it? Which I can totally understand George's way of thinking, as in because nobody was interested in even helping out, even a couple of £. It wasn't as if George was asking for a full lot. He was only asking as in for maybe $5, $8 or whatever it was. As in he was doing things like a roll of $35 or whatever it was, and you were getting as in the ones that were no like doublers, or the ones that was like, say for instance, it was like a full load of different the same design. So we take out like the ones like they go in the darts and all that car on the toonies that was all coloured. So you were getting like 5 toonies or whatever that was coming out the roll. Why should George give everybody a full roll if there's only 4 coins in it that's even worth anything at a roll? So the idea was is George was putting the ones that were just common ones back to the bank, which is quite right in doing. So he was winning at the same time, as well as yous were winning at the same time. That's what it takes. It's like somebody saying, you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. So you scratch their back and they'll scratch yours. It means that isn't a give and take. So you're giving and people are taking, but because people are taking and no giving, that's why George stopped. That's why George stopped it. That's why George decided that there's no point anymore. He puts out the odd videos as and every now and again. But George is saying me, George at the moment his own thing, mate, is actually putting stuff on eBay. That's where he's putting a lot of stuff on eBay, and he's doing alright at it. But the only reason is because it was costing him an absolute fortune. He couldn't keep it up. He couldn't keep it going because he wasn't earning at it. It's one of the cases that you don't just put out something and then get nothing in return. If you're getting nothing in return, there's no point in doing it in the first place. The only reason I started doing this because I felt it was overwhelming for you guys to actually take me on as one of your own. And I think that's what meant more to me, being accepted as one of you's lot. And that's what was overwhelming for me. And I think that's why I decided to do it as in did the game in the first place. To give something back, to put something on the table. People's like that. Some people's like that. It's even Blisterman says, you don't have to do that. Just being here makes it worthwhile. But I didn't feel like that. I felt that I had to give something back. And that's why I started doing the stickers and all the rest and the thing with was to get me out there more so that people would get to know me as a person and then think, well, why don't we go to Alex's channel? Why don't we have a visit his channel? See if there's anything interesting. That was the whole idea behind the comments, or people want to put comments to the videos. Because I like to put the videos out there, but I like the comments, writing something, replying back to somebody, thanks for your time, thanks for the support. But it's not just about that, it's about putting something constructive in the comments and saying, well, I didn't like this, or I didn't like that, I didn't like the way you did that. Because it helps me as a creator put out good content, or put out interesting content to keep it coming, to keep the content coming. What's the point of me doing videos if nobody's interested in even watching them or even commenting to the videos in the first place? And people were commenting the videos and they weren't even answering what I'd put in them in the video. Like, as in, what would you be interested in? There's a coin, but would you be interested in this coin or would you be interested in that coin? Which year do you need? Because it's like Andrew coming and he's saying, I need the state quarters, but which state quarters do you need? Which quarters are you short of in your book? I don't know what you've got in your own collection, but if you don't tell me, how do I know? I don't. All I'm doing is going through what I have or what the stuff I have that I've got more of and thinking, well, maybe people would be interested in this. Maybe somebody would like this sent to them. Because that's what the whole first prize and second prize and third prize is about. Is to be able to give you a slab and say, there's a slab, there's a $30 piece, or there's a $15 piece. That $15 piece might be $30 worth. I don't know, or $60 worth. I don't go and look at the retail value of things. I know what I paid for it at auction, and I know some of them are good deals. Because I look at something and go, that's worth picking up. That's worth putting in somebody's that's worth putting in somebody's collection. Somebody will like that. They put that into their collection and appreciate that. I'm not interested if they sell it. It's up to them. It's up to them what they do with it once they get it from me. But I just don't like the fact of somebody coming back and turning, I got this off you and all that, putting it in your face. As in, it's like rubbing salt and it's like somebody slashing somebody and then coming back and fucking did that, and then they end up with and they shove it in your face. I got that off you for nothing. Thing me, I get $60 for that. Interested what you got for it. I don't mind somebody coming back and saying, by the way, that was a beautiful deal I got off you, or that was a beautiful item I got off you. I made money out of that. I don't mind that. I don't mind that. But it's when somebody's down me, it's like rubbing salt in the wind. I get that for that. Ha ha ha. You're daft. I'm not daft in my madness, in my methods. I've got an idea that maybe eventually I'll get something in the end in return at some point. But I'm not worried about how long it takes. I'm not really worried about how long it takes. Well, I'm gonna go, guys, because there's nobody telling me that saying that there's 0 people watching. So I'll see you later, guys. See you. Bye.